Chapter 574. As the law of ice in Yi Shuang's body flowed, it was as though the sky was frozen. The cold breath flowed around, and the demonic aura on the blood-refining demon god's body was frozen. What a strong control of the law of ice, as expected of the leader of the 9 primes in the heavenly palace. With such control of the law of ice, I'm afraid even the ice goddess who claimed to have mastered the law of ice to the extreme might not be as good as this. Looking at the scene, Tao God Reincarnation couldn't help but exclaim, "Eldest senior sister's law of ice is far above ice goddess?" Hearing what Tao God Reincarnation said, Ning Tian couldn't help but crease his eyebrows. He looked at Yi Shuang's back in the sky and fell into deep thought. Above the sky, no matter how the blood-refining demon god blocked Yi Shuang's attack, the demonic aura would be frozen by the surrounding coldness before it could be unleashed. An ancient god-level demon god in the chaotic realm couldn't even unleash his demonic aura before Yi Shuang. One could imagine how powerful the eldest senior sister in the heavenly palace was. Frost spell, exterminate. Yi Shuang glanced at the blood-refining demon god indifferently and uttered a word from her red lips. The chilliness around her condensed and turned into sharp ice blades. As soon as she uttered those words, they instantly charged towards the blood-refining demon god. Boom, boom, boom. Countless sharp ice blades appeared with the coldness and charged at the blood-refining demon god with a piercing sound. Sacrifice my demon blood in exchange for my demonic aura. Looking at the scene, there was a flash of fear in the blood-refining demon god's eyes. He blasted his demon body with his palm and then spat out a mouthful of black blood. It seemed to be scorching hot and turned into essence blood and demonic aura to block in front of him. Boom. The demonic aura flowed and the ice followed closely. In an instant, there was a terrifying collision of energy. Even the demon sea below stirred up waves. The fire-sealing Lion King roared and blocked the power to protect the 2 people lying on its back. Frost dance. Yi Shuang didn't have any reaction when her attack was blocked, and she still uttered faintly. She spoke again. The cold air in the surroundings condensed, and snowflakes fell from the sky. As they fell, they seemed to be dancing in the air, beautiful beyond compare. Has eldest senior sister already grasped the laws of ice to such an extent? She can change it at will, but its might is extremely powerful. She can use it at will. Seeing this scene, Ning Tian's eyes flashed with a solemn light. Although he had grasped several types of natural laws, he had not grasped any of them to the same degree as Yi Shuang. He didn't even possess 1/10 of it. The 9 sovereigns of the heavenly palace are indeed powerful. Tao God Reincarnation couldn't help but sigh. However, although the 2 of them had witnessed Yi Shuang's strength, they were not discouraged. Instead, they became even more courageous and worked hard to become even stronger. What is this thing?" the blood-refining demon god exclaimed. He had a bad feeling the moment he saw the snowflakes drifting in the sky. However, when he struck his demonic body again and spat out pitch-black demonic blood, releasing his blood essence and demonic chi, however, a scene that made him despair appeared. His blood essence and demonic chi were not worth mentioning in front of the seemingly insignificant snowflakes. The tiny snowflakes easily dispersed the blood-refining demon god's demonic chi and drifted on his body. It's over. When the seemingly ordinary snowflakes fell on the blood-refining demon god's body, his eyes went blank for a moment. He knew that the seemingly ordinary snowflakes hid murderous intent. Before him, he was an ancient god, a sovereign. Avalanche. However, when the blood-refining demon god's eyes lost their brilliance, Yi Shuang's voice sounded faintly. In the sky, the snowflakes seemed to be falling even faster. Boom, boom. At that moment, the snowflakes that fell on the blood-refining demon god's body seemed to have absorbed a great amount of energy. At that moment, they exploded. Along with the explosion of the snowflakes was the gigantic demonic body. The demonic blood stained the snowflakes and disappeared in an instant like a flash in the pan. So beautiful. Seeing this, Ning Tian couldn't help but murmur. This beauty was not referring to Yi Shuang. This move was called avalanche. During an avalanche, not a single snowflake was innocent. Similarly, when the blood-refining demon god died tragically, not a single patriarch was innocent. Boom! The blood-refining demon god's demonic body shattered in an instant. The pitch-black, demonic blood spilled into the demonic sea below, and the torrential demonic chi merged into the air. Seeing this, Ning Tian quickly activated the heart of 3 clans to absorb all the demonic chi of the blood-refining demon god. The demonic chi was good stuff. He couldn't waste it. A mere primal chaos ancient god actually used 3 moves. It seems like Wuyo has to refine the technique of hiding the shadow in the Heavenly Palace's ancient tablet. Yishuang frowned slightly and murmured, Ning Tian, Tao God reincarnation, Ning Tian, do your parents follow you? Or do you follow your parents? I don't know. Should they follow me? Shameless enough. I can see it. The 2 bloody figures lying on the flame-ceiling Lion King were lamenting about life. At this moment, Yishuang's gaze fell on the 2 of them in the sky. She said faintly, little junior brother, are you all right? Hee, I'm fine. I won't die yet. Ning Tian grinned. He was covered in blood, but he said he was fine. At this moment, he also saw Yishuang's current appearance. As she said, it was just a shadow that was stored in the Heavenly Palace's ancient tablet. Fortunately, I have a backup plan. Otherwise, the blood-refining demon god would have succeeded. Yishuang glanced over and seemed to heave a sigh of relief. Then, her beautiful eyes fell on Ning Tian. Little junior brother, although you have the Heavenly Palace behind you, you still need to be careful. We can't come every time, especially during this period of time. Yishuang's tone carried a hint of reminder. Ning Tian nodded. He felt warmth in his heart. This time, it could be considered a small accident. Originally, he had planned to just run away after destroying the small devil realm. However, he did not expect that the devil clan in the small devil realm would not call their parents according to martial ethics. Therefore, he could only be forced to call his parents and send them off. By the way, eldest senior sister, Ning Tian seemed to have thought of something and was about to verify his doubts. Yishuang looked over. Senior sister, have you heard of the 10,000 Spirits Demon Lair? Or should I say, the Winter Spirit Forbidden Land? When Ning Tian said those words, he stared intently at Yishuang. To be honest, he suspected that the heavenly demon cult from the frozen divine region in the 10,000 Spirits Demon Lair might have something to do with Yishuang, because the law of ice in the cave was too strong. That kind of ice, it was far beyond the reach of ordinary people. Was it eldest senior sister Yishuang, or the mysterious ice goddess? Chapter 575. 10,000 Spirits Nest? Yishuang raised her eyebrows, but her expression didn't change much. She just shook her head slightly and said, Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Hearing that, Ning Tian frowned and retracted his gaze. Although he heard Yishuang's answer, the doubts in his heart didn't disappear completely. Junior brother. At this moment, Yishuang spoke again. 2 months later, come to the Heavenly Palace. As for the specifics, we'll talk about it when you reach the Heavenly Palace. My shadow is about to dissipate. She looked at her body that was gradually becoming transparent and said, Sure. I'll see you in the Heavenly Palace 2 months later, senior sister. Ning Tian didn't think too much about it and nodded. 2 months later, the 9 primes of the Heavenly Palace would definitely give him a trial of love. Since he didn't have a goal for the time being, he might as well go to the Heavenly Palace and improve his strength. Only with strength could he save Bai Lu. Oh yeah, remember to bring the 2 sisters, too. As soon as she finished speaking, Yishuang's shadow disappeared completely. Phew, after Yishuang's shadow disappeared, Ning Tian let out a long sigh of relief. He looked at the remaining demonic aura in the demonic sea and murmured, The demonic aura is a treasure. We can't waste it. Why? You still want to take away the demonic aura? We're both seriously injured now. Tao God Reincarnation looked at his injuries and couldn't help but laugh bitterly. The 2 of them had just taken a hit from the blood-refining demon god. It was already a miracle that they didn't die. No. Ning Tian shook his head and looked at Tao God Reincarnation seriously. You're the one who's seriously injured. I'm fine. After that, A wave of green spirit energy was emitted from her body, and the vigorous vitality spread out. After a period of healing, Ning Tian was alive and kicking again, as if nothing had happened to her. This was the power of the law of life. It's a pity. My face is too small. I can only take a little damage. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to use the law of life. Ning Tian touched his face and couldn't help but murmur. When the blood-refining demon god's palm came at him, he had used his face to take 100 million points of damage. That was why he was only severely injured. After all, a little bit of defense on his face was no joke. It would be great if there was a way to make his face bigger while still maintaining his handsomeness. System, give me some strength. The system? ? At the sight of that, Tao God Reincarnation was dumbfounded. So, I'm the only one who is severely injured? Ning Tian, my back hurts. Do you want to? Tao God Reincarnation let out a dry cough, hinting Ning Tian to give him a shot of life law energy. I can cure him, but you have to pay for it. Ning Tian looked at Tao God Reincarnation with a smile. Tao God Reincarnation's face darkened. Haha, I'm just lying to you. How could this ancestor be such a shameless person? What's our relationship? Why would he want your money? I'm not greedy. At most, you can give me a few deity-tier martial arts to send me off. Ning Tian laughed heartily as he spoke honestly. Tao God Reincarnation's face darkened even more. After healing Tao God Reincarnation, Ning Tian raised his hand. The demon's heart in his Dantian's small world was beating wildly, absorbing all the demon chi from the corpses of the demon clan experts in the demon sea. The hearts of the three clans were humans, demons, and demons. The energy needed for the heart of humans was faith, the heart of demons was bloodline, and the demon clan was the simplest and most violent demon chi. After a while, the remaining demon chi in the demon sea below was completely absorbed by Ning Tian. Demon's heart has been upgraded. Currently, it can provide host with more demon chi. Host's strength has broken through. Currently, your ancestor god realm 5 stars. In his mind, the system's upgrade notification sounded. Phew, I've finally broken through. Ning Tian let out a long breath. This trip was worth it. He destroyed small demon realm, strengthened the demon's heart, and his strength had broken through. Let's go back to Precept Domain, Ning Tian said, and summoned the void ship. He then jumped on. Sha Tian, drive the void ship and take us back to Precept Domain. I need to consolidate my strength. Roar. Seal Flame Lion King roared. It seemed the small demon realm in its stomach had not been digested. 3 days later, Demon Imperial Domain. There was heavy demon chi. A tower-like hall stood in the dark sky. It's been 3 days. Why hasn't any demon god reported to small demon realm? Above the endless hall, there was a black fog that was several hundred meters in size amidst the demonic chi, and the deep voice came from that black fog. My emperor, I've also sent someone to small demon realm to investigate. A demon god walked out of the hall. He bowed slightly, and there was a hint of fanatical reverence in his tone. The demon chi that should have been extremely strong in his demon body trembled and faded away because of the demon in front of him. Oh, any progress? In the black fog, the low voice sounded again. The demon god frowned and looked troubled. Just as he was about to speak, a demon chi suddenly rushed into his body and sent him a message. What? Small demon realm is gone? The demon god's expression changed drastically, and he could not help but cry out. Hearing this, several auras flickered in the darkness of the demon palace. Azure Demon, what do you mean by this? In the black fog, the powerful existence's voice seemed to have turned cold. Demon god Azure Demon could clearly feel an invisible pressure enveloping him. My emperor, it's literally. Demon god Azure Demon trembled all over, gritted his teeth, and said slowly. Not only are the demons in small demon realm gone, but the entire small demon realm is gone. Even the demon soul of the blood-refining demon god has shattered. As soon as the words came out. What? It's fine if the demons in small demon realm are gone, but the entire small demon realm is gone too? The blood-refining demon god is an ancient god with 3 chaotic stars. The entire demonic palace suddenly sank, and an extremely cold demonic chi spread from the top of the palace. The surrounding demonic gods were so shocked that their expressions changed drastically, and they looked somewhat horrified. Who did it? Do you have a clue? In the black fog, the unknown existence asked in a deep voice, with a hint of anger in his voice. Such behavior was completely provoking the entire demon race. As the saying goes, hit someone but not hit their face. Now, not only did someone destroy the entire small demon realm, but they even wiped out the entire small demon realm. This was simply a slap in the face. Could it be those people did it? Those existences do have some grudges with our demon race, and they are capable of slaughtering their entire clan. However, they did not even let go of the small demon realm. This is somewhat unimaginable. The existence in the black fog murmured to himself, "My emperor, this? I don't have a clue." Demon god Azure Demon shook his head with an ugly expression. What? You don't have a clue? You demon gods don't even know how to conduct demon chi? Do you need me to teach you how to see residual images through devil chi? A loud shout came from within the black fog. In an instant, demon god Azure Demon's body was sent flying, and he crashed heavily into the demon stone in the main hall. Puff! A mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth. However, he did not show the slightest dissatisfaction. He only said in an aggrieved tone, "My emperor, it's not that I don't know how to do this. It's just that the demons in small demon realm have been destroyed, and the entire small demon realm is gone. But, Motherf asterisk cur, there's not even a drop of demonic chi left." Chapter 576. The moment he said that, the hall fell into a dead silence. The expressions of the surrounding demon gods instantly became strange. Why did things seem to be getting weirder and weirder? First, all the demon clans above small demon domain were annihilated. Then, the entire small demon domain disappeared. Now, even the residual demon chi after the battle had been cleaned up. Your Majesty, it seems the one who attacked small demon domain should be someone who knows our demon clan very well. Demon god Chingimo got up from the ground and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. A glint flashed in his eyes as he looked at the hall. Otherwise, he wouldn't know that our demon clan can conduct demon chi from the residual demon chi and obtain information to annihilate the people in small demon domain. He must be very meticulous to think of this. Around them, the demon gods in the demon hall also nodded in agreement. However, the instigator of all this was completely unaware. What evil intentions could the ancestral master have? He just didn't want to waste any demon chi. After all, according to Ning Tian, wasting demon chi was shameful. A low voice came from the black fog. Could it be? Was it really those people? To be able to wipe out all the demon chi, it was enough to show that the person who attacked small demon domain must be someone who knew the demon clan well. What are those fellows from the ancient god cloud atlas of heaven and earth trying to do? The demonic figure in the black fog seemed to frown. Could it be, just because he had rejected their cooperation, they wanted to take revenge? The ancient god cloud atlas of heaven and earth. If I find out that it's you, then this grudge will be completely formed. A soft voice came from the black fog. This matter, continue to investigate. Don't let go of any clues. The voice fell. The demon gods in the demon hall trembled and nodded heavily. Yes, Your Majesty. Also, how are the preparations for the Big Dipper star domain in 3 months? Your Majesty, everything is ready. We will definitely succeed. Demon god Chingimo said very seriously. That thing can only fall into the hands of our demon clan. If we have that thing, our demon clan's first demon clan may be able to escape from that place of imprisonment. The voice in the black fog made the entire demon hall fall into a frenzy. The first demon clan's first demon, and within these few days, the news of the disappearance of the entire small devil region had also spread to the surroundings of the small devil region. When they saw that the entire small devil region was gone, many cultivators were dumbfounded. Did the entire small devil region move? Moving house was one thing, but even the land was taken away? After a long time had passed, a voice was heard saying that the little devil domain had been swallowed by an enormous lion monstrous beast. However, not a single person believed such absurd words. What a joke. That was a domain. How could a mere demonic lion swallow an entire region? The disappearance of the small demon realm had also become a mystery. Tao domain. The void ship tore through the void and appeared in this world. Who? You're finally back. Ning Tian breathed a sigh of relief. After a few days of trekking, he had finally rushed back to the precept domain from the small demon realm. He looked at the flame-sealing Lion King, who was wearing a straw hat and burping, and ordered, "Shatian, control the void ship and prepare to land." Roar. The flame-sealing Lion King roared. After swallowing the small demon realm, its burping had not stopped, and its body had also gained some demonic aura. It was very obvious that whatever it ate, it would nourish it. This made Ning Tian want to give it a few brains to nourish its brain. But after thinking about it, he decided that since it would be deducted by the system anyway, there was no need to do something so superfluous. The void ship broke through the void and slowly landed on the ground of the precept domain. After being ruled by the demon clan of the small demon realm for many years, the land of the precept domain had almost been eroded by the demonic aura, showing a kind of black color. After the last battle, the precept domain was even more in a mess. But no matter what, the precept domain had been taken back in the end. Husband. When Ning Tian came down from the void ship, he saw two beautiful figures walking over. And from the slightly stronger aura on their bodies, it could be seen that the two women had made a breakthrough. After all, in terms of talent, the two women were not necessarily inferior to Ning Tian. The small demon realm is gone. As for the precept domain, how is it? Ning Tian looked at Luo Wuqing and Sui Weiyao and asked. The people of the precept domain are still in a state of deep sleep. Although their souls were saved by Bai Lu, their vitality is still a little weak. The wolf blood demon god and the other two have already returned to the demon god domain. As for demon god 9 Phoenix, Luo Wuqing was halfway through her words when her beautiful eyes looked to the side. The others also looked over. They saw that demon god 9 Phoenix was already facing Tao God reincarnation. Seeing this, the three of them could not help but smile knowingly. By the way, wife, in 2 months, let's go to the heavenly palace. Ning Tian looked at the two women and briefly explained the matter. The heavenly palace? Luo Wuqing and Sui Weiyao were both taken aback.
Yes.
Does this count as meeting the parents? Ning Tian held the two women in his arms. The corners of his mouth could not help but curl into a smirk. Hearing this, the two women, who did not feel anything at first, were at a loss. Haha, don't panic. As the saying goes, a stinky wife will meet her parents-in-law sooner or later. Ning Tian laughed. You're the ugly one. This sentence immediately made Luo Wuqing and Sui Weiyao roll their eyes. After going to the heavenly palace, it's time to improve my strength. Ning Tian chuckled, a glint flashing in his eyes, but his expression became calm. Hearing this, the two women seemed to understand and nodded quietly. As long as he improved his strength, he could fulfill the promise he made and bring Bai Lu back from the Earth's spirit domain. But fortunately, with the existence of the twig, Ning Tian still had a lot of time. By the way, how's the thing I asked you to do? Did you find anything in the precept domain? Ning Tian looked at the two women. Yes. Luo Wuqing nodded slightly. Haha, and it's not a small discovery. Sui Weiyao giggled and added, Oh? Hearing this, Ning Tian's eyes flickered. Then let's go and take a look later. Then, he let go of the two women and walked toward the two figures who were hugging each other not far away. Ahem, there was a dry cough. Suddenly, Tao God Reincarnation and Demon God Jufeng, who were hugging each other, immediately separated as if they had been electrocuted. Old Tao, you're not very thick-skinned. If you want a hug, just do it. Ning Tian looked at Tao God Reincarnation teasingly. Brat, do you think everyone is as shameless as you? Tao God Reincarnation blushed and glared at Ning Tian. No, I'm not being shameless. I'm just being shameless, Ning Tian said with a straight face. Tao God Reincarnation, Demon God Jufeng. This was the first time they had seen someone use the word shameless so blatantly. Indeed, shameless. This is the core of life, condensed by the law of life. Put this at the center of the precept domain and activate the spirit chi for it. It can revive the vitality of the precept domain that has been corroded by the demonic chi. The people in your precept domain can also wake up sooner. Ning Tian didn't talk nonsense. He looked at the two of them and opened his palm. A ball of green energy that kept spinning appeared in his hand. Author's words, sorry to keep everyone waiting. Although it hasn't been 7 days, I'll update in advance. Thank you for your support. Now, silver notes are very important to me. I care about this result. Give me a few votes. Thank you. I'll update as usual. Chapter 577. This is the core of life? Looking at the green spinning energy in Ning Tian's hand and feeling the rich vitality in it, Tao God Reincarnation and Demon God Nine Phoenix couldn't help but be moved. A glimmer of light flashed in their eyes.
Yes.
With the core of life, your precept domain will return to its peak one day. Ning Tian nodded slightly and then handed the core of life over. Looking at the core of life in his hand, Tao God Reincarnation's expression was solemn. He didn't say anything for a long time. In the end, thousands of words were not as good as a thank you. Thank you, Ning Tian. It's okay. Ning Tian waved his hand slightly. Tao God Reincarnation was now on the same side as him. If his precept domain became stronger, it also meant that his force would become stronger. This was something he was happy to see. Thank you. My precept domain will never forget such a great kindness. Tao God Reincarnation didn't say too much and thanked him again. However, he naturally understood Ning Tian's intention, and his words also expressed his meaning. He would never forget it, okay? Ning Tian chuckled. Smart people often didn't need to say too much to reach a consensus. Then, he patted Tao God Reincarnation's shoulder. Tao God Reincarnation, bury this core of life in the center of your precept domain. After activating the spirit energy, don't worry about him. Understood. Tao God Reincarnation put away the core of life. After that, you can enjoy some alone time with Senior 9 Phoenix. If your body can't take it, I still have some good medicine here. Since we know each other, I'll give you a discount on the original price of 30 million yuan. It's not expensive at all. Ning Tian's lips curled into a teasing smile as he looked at the two of them. Yes, I know. Huh. Brat, what are you talking about? Also, you brat, you sold it to me for 300 million for 30 million. Are you kidding me? Tao God Reincarnation nodded subconsciously, but he quickly reacted. His old face couldn't help but blush as he glared at Ning Tian. Demon God Nine Phoenix, who was beside him, was also a little embarrassed. Ahaha, how did you know? Ning Tian laughed and teased him again. Then, under the gaze of Ning Tian and the other two, Reincarnation Tao God brought Demon God Nine Phoenix to the center of Precept Dominion. This old man looks like a weakling. Ning Tian couldn't help but say as he watched the two leave. Oh, don't tell me you're not afraid, hubby? Sui Weiyao couldn't help but giggle and lick her red lips. Her coquettish eyes fell on Ning Tian, full of provocation. Provoking your husband is an additional crime. Ning Tian rubbed his chin and a smile appeared on his face as he silently noted it down. It seemed that this concubine needed to be disciplined. Let's go. Honey, lead the way. It's time for us to get down to business. Ning Tian stretched and looked at the two girls with a smile. Don't misunderstand. He was talking about the most serious matter. Luo Wuqing's expression was calm, and her face was slightly cold as she nodded slightly. Hubby, come with me. Dozens of minutes later, in a canyon of Precept Dominion, the place was barren and filled with demonic fog. When the three of them stepped into the place, they could hear a strange whistling sound coming from the deepest part. Hubby, this is the strange place we found. Luo Wuqing pointed her finger, and a flame, spiritual energy, tore the demonic fog in front of them apart. A path that led to the deepest part appeared. There are signs of excavation here. If I'm not mistaken, the entire canyon should have been excavated. Ning Tian frowned slightly as he looked around the canyon and said slowly, Haha, you guessed right. Sui Weiyao nodded with a smile. According to Wuqing and my deduction, This place should have been excavated by demon god Scarlet Flame with the demon army. However, just as they dug out the canyon, Tao God Reincarnation attacked before we could check it out. If that's the case, we're lucky. Let's go. Ning Tian chuckled and took the lead to walk towards the path. The two ladies followed closely behind. The three of them rushed into the canyon below, and the demonic fog couldn't get close to the three of them. The path led directly to the core of the canyon. The deeper they went, the thicker the demonic fog. At first, the two ladies could still disperse the demonic fog with spiritual energy and demonic aura. However, in the deepest part, the density of the demonic aura exceeded the range that the two ladies could disperse. Fortunately, with Ning Tian around, the demonic aura couldn't hinder them too much. Soon, the three of them entered the core of the canyon. The surrounding dark demonic aura turned into a demonic sea and shrouded the surroundings with a terrifying demonic aura pressure. At the center, there was a piece of land. When Ning Tian and the two of them stepped in, the surrounding demonic sea instantly rioted and rushed towards Ning Tian and the two ladies. At the same time, the demonic aura on Ning Tian's body surged and he said faintly, "Get lost." Boom. At that moment, the surrounding demonic aura was like a bird startled by the twang of a bow. It was frightened by the demonic aura on Ning Tian's body and fled in all directions. It seemed as fierce as a tiger, but it was actually a coward. After all, after absorbing the remaining demonic aura of the small demon domain a few days ago, the heart of the demon clan had been upgraded. Ordinary demonic aura pressure was ineffective against Ning Tian. Let's go. With one word, Ning Tian dispersed the surrounding demonic aura. After saying that casually, he led the two ladies towards the land in the middle of the demonic sea. It seemed as if all the mysteries were hidden there. Husband, look. When the three of them entered the core of the canyon, Luo Wuqing soon discovered something. Her beautiful eyes looked at a certain place with a dignified look in them. Hearing that, Ning Tian and Su Yueyao also looked over. They saw, in front of the three of them, a black beam of light emerged. Upon closer inspection, one could see that there was an unknown object floating in the beam of light. Vaguely, the surrounding demonic aura seemed to be emanating from this unknown object. That is, Su Yueyao frowned, a trace of doubt flashing in her beautiful eyes. Let's go over and take a look. Ning Tian raised his brows and casually said. After that, he walked towards the black beam of light. The two ladies followed closely behind. They walked to the front of the beam of light. Only then did the three of them see the general appearance of the unknown object in the beam of light. It was a fist-sized square demonic seal. The surrounding demonic aura was coming from this demonic seal. What a strong demonic aura! Even Ning Tian couldn't help but sigh at the demonic aura emanating from the demonic seal in the pitch-black beam of light. He didn't expect to find such a strong demonic aura in such a place. It seemed that this demonic seal was fated to be with him. Ning Tian's eyes flashed. He raised his hand, and a ball of demonic aura emerged from his arm. He reached out and grabbed the demonic seal. But at that moment, Chapter 578. Boom. There seemed to be a roar coming from his body, and a gust of demonic aura flowed out. Sensing the change, Ning Tian frowned and stopped what he was doing. That commotion just now was the pagoda demon tower? Soon after, with a trace of doubt, he flipped his hand and the palm-sized Buddha demon pagoda appeared on his palm. At this moment, the Buddha demon pagoda was emitting a pitch-black flickering luster that was somewhat different from before. Husband, look at the demonic seal. At this moment, Luo Wuqing's voice sounded. Ning Tian raised her eyes to look. He saw that the demonic seal, which had been motionless earlier, was also emitting a pitch-black glow, one bright and one dark, corresponding to the Buddha demon tower. At this moment, Ning Tian understood. The Buddha demon pagoda and the devil seal had an extremely deep relationship. Their bodies contained the power of the same origin. Phew, there is a great opportunity. Ning Tian heaved a long sigh of relief. Then, a glint flashed in his eyes. He activated the heart of the demon and used a large amount of demonic chi to control the Buddha demon pagoda. He controlled the pagoda to slowly move towards the demon seal. Buzz, buzz, buzz. There was an excited buzzing sound coming from the Buddha demon tower. Clearly, the tower spirit was moving. At first, Ning Tian thought that the Buddha demon tower was just a divine artifact. But now, he changed his mind. The Buddha demon tower was not just a divine artifact. It was a supra-divine artifact, or even more. The Buddha demon tower moved slowly, and the demonic seal in the pitch-black light beam was attracted to it. The light beam became wavering. The demonic aura in the surroundings became a sea of demonic aura, and it began to boil. The two women at the side also quietly circulated their spiritual energy, guarding Ning Tian. As time passed, the Buddha demon tower and the demonic seal were already stuck together. It's joined. Su Yueyao's beautiful eyes lit up, and she said something that made people daydream. Phew. Seeing this, Ning Tian heaved a sigh of relief. He was even more certain of the connection between the Buddha demon tower and the demonic seal. At this moment, the demonic seal was almost stuck to the Buddha demon tower. Let me see what this demonic seal is. Ning Tian's eyes flashed. Just as he was about to reach out his hand to check, a terrifying demonic aura from the Buddha demon tower exploded. Boom! The demonic aura suddenly. At this moment, the two women, who were already prepared, immediately, they circulated their spiritual energy and stood in front of Ning Tian. Boom! Even so, the three was the demonic aura was the demonic seal was the demonic seal. The moment they stabilized themselves, the three of them immediately looked at the terrifying demon chi in front of them. Husband, the seal to the demon tower. Loof the demon tower. Luo Wuqing's pretty face turned slightly cold. Her cold eyes looked at the chaotic demonic chi in front of her. When she saw it clearly, she could not help but frown. Yes, I see it. Ning Tian's gaze fell on the demonic aura, and the corners of his mouth curled up. I want to see what this demonic seal is up to. Honey, step back. Okay. The two women stepped back, but the spiritual energy on their bodies did not dissipate. As long as there was a trace of something wrong, the two women would make a move. Phew. You want to stop me with just this level of demonic aura? Ning Tian chuckled. The heart of the demon in his Dantian's small world shook, and a huge amount of demonic aura flowed out of his body. The heart of the demon has provided an even more powerful demonic aura. Back off for me. Demonic chi swirled around Ning Tian's arm. She lifted her hand and gently pressed it down. The originally frightening demonic chi in front of her slowly dissipated at this moment. The Buddha demon pagoda also returned to normal. However, the demonic seal was gone. Did he enter the Buddha demon tower? No, he actually went to the second level. Ning Tian frowned and checked. He saw that the demonic seal had entered the second level of the Buddha demon tower, which had just opened. Since the last time the second level was opened, he had not had time to check it out. I'll take this opportunity to check the second level. Ning Tian made up her mind. She looked at the two women beside her and instructed them. Honey, little wife, you two protect me. I'll go to the second level of the Buddha demon tower to check it out. Okay. Luo Wuqing nodded slightly with a calm expression. Hee, honey, don't worry. I promise to take good care of your body. Su Yueyao giggled, and her beautiful eyes stared at Ning Tian. This was one of the disadvantages of the fox demon transformation. That was cough, unsatisfied desire. Okay, then I'll go. Ning Tian was not worried that Su Yueyao would do anything. After all, his first wife was watching from the side. Even if she did, so be it. After all, it was not a loss to be taken advantage of by his little wife. At most, he would take it back when the time came. He sat cross-legged, and with a thought, he rushed into the Buddha demon tower. The Buddha demon tower. Ning Tian's consciousness came to the second level. The surroundings were not as dark as the first level. Instead, it was a simple space inside the tower. However, there were some ancient runes on the walls. This is? Ning Tian raised his eyebrows and was about to walk over. The demonic seal suddenly appeared in the middle of the second level. So it's here. Ning Tian murmured, then looked at the demonic seal and said indifferently, "Stand here and don't move. Let me think of a way to control you gracefully." Demonic seal? Boom. In the next moment, a terrifying demonic aura came from the demonic seal and attacked Ning Tian. Slap. However, the moment the demonic seal appeared, a pair of giant hands made of demonic aura slapped it to the ground, directly suppressing it on the ground of the second level. The demonic seal was slapped back by Ning Tian. What was there to say? I told you to stay where you are and don't move. You want me to use violence? Ning Tian said helplessly, and the demonic aura around him firmly pressed the demonic seal to the ground. The ancestral master only wanted to use an elegant way to solve the problem. He liked to persuade people with reason. Now, he was forcing him to use violence. Oh, right. He forgot to mention it. He had just called the move to suppress the demonic seal reason. It was the true use of reason to persuade people. The ancestral master had always been honest. Let me see what you are, Ning Tian said indifferently, then walked toward the demonic seal. His consciousness quickly flowed over the demonic seal, and soon, he understood the origin of this demonic seal. An item on the second level of the Buddha Demon Tower. A fiend god seal. An unknown item. It was originally one with the Buddha Demon Tower. However, it was separated from the second level due to the dark turmoil. Wait, dark turmoil? When Ning Tian's consciousness flashed, he quickly learned some information. However, his expression soon became interesting. Dark turmoil. This Buddha Demon Tower was a product of that time. Author's words. There is still one more update in the afternoon. I will sleep first. Chapter 579. Is it the dark turmoil again? A glint flashed across Ning Tian's eyes. She withdrew her divine sense from the celestial demon seal and looked at the Buddha Demon Pagoda. She said indifferently, "Pagoda spirit, since we're working together, there must be some things that you have to drag out, right? Otherwise, then don't blame me for being merciless and tearing down this Buddha Demon Pagoda. After all, there must be someone who will help me with the tearing down of the word." As soon as he finished speaking, the second level of the Buddha Demon Pagoda was silent. After a long time, buzz buzz, a buzzing sound rang out. A consciousness flowed into Ning Tian's mind. This was the pagoda spirit of the Buddha Demon Pagoda. It was different from Bai Lu. It was a true weapon spirit. This also meant that the Buddha Demon Pagoda's level was definitely not low. Oh, I see. After absorbing the information transmitted by the pagoda spirit, Ning Tian understood a little. This Buddha Demon Pagoda was indeed something that existed during the dark turmoil. The 12 seals of the Buddha Demon Pagoda were also related to the dark turmoil. Every level was somehow related to the dark turmoil. No wonder. Why do I feel that some of the incantations on the walls of the pagoda are familiar? Ning Tian muttered to himself as he looked at the strange incantations on the walls. He knew about them from the information transmitted by the pagoda spirit. These incantations could be activated by the Fiend God seal. The incantations on the walls of the pagoda were the ancient incantations left on his body when he used the Fiend God seal for the first time when he unlocked the first level. Chapter 332, Cold Poison Seal, Blazing Fire Seal. There are so many seal techniques carved on the walls of the pagoda. Looking at the second level of the pagoda, Ning Tian's eyes flashed with a glint. After unlocking the second level, he would obtain the Fiend God seal and all kinds of seal techniques. There are 2 months left. Before I head to the Heavenly Palace, I should try to master a few of the stronger seal techniques. Ning Tian's consciousness moved. After making up his mind, he exited the second level of the Buddha Demon Pagoda. Outside, Luo Wuqing grabbed Su Yueyao's foxtail with one hand, not letting this woman get close to Ning Tian. This woman was too crazy, and Su Yueyao could only watch helplessly. What are you guys doing? When Ning Tian's consciousness returned to his body and saw this scene, he couldn't help but feel a little strange. Husband, are you done? Luo Wuqing didn't explain anything. He grabbed the soft foxtail with one hand and looked up at Ning Tian. Yes, it's settled. Ning Tian smiled and nodded. He then looked at the 2 women and said slowly, There are still 2 months before I go to the heavenly palace. I plan to cultivate well in these 2 months. What are your plans? 2 months. Luo Wuqing pondered for a moment and then said softly, then I will cultivate with my husband. Hee, is this proper cultivation? Sui Weiyao giggled. Her bell-like laughter was very seductive. Her beautiful eyes fell on Ning Tian, and she giggled. Oh! The corners of Ning Tian's mouth lifted slightly. Then, he pulled her soft body into his embrace and lowered his head to look at her. He chuckled softly and said, Little wife, you've been acting strange recently. You've been acting both serious and super serious. Do you want to come? Hee, come. Sui Weiyao winked at Ning Tian. She couldn't be blamed. She had a half-demon body and had the blood of seduction. It was inevitable that she would take the initiative in some things. Moreover, doing proper things would improve her and Ning Tian's cultivation a little. Then let's go. Ning Tian laughed and then pulled the two women into the void. Just as he was about to step in, he suddenly thought of something. He looked at the surrounding demonic aura and murmured, This demonic aura can't be wasted. Then, he waved his hand and all the demonic aura came to him. There was not a trace of demonic aura left in the entire canyon. It's shameful to waste it. Not a single drop can be left. After doing all this, Ning Tian clapped his hands in satisfaction. Oh, not a single drop can be left? Sui Weiyao put her finger on her red lips. Her beautiful eyes sparkled and her pair of fox ears swayed. No driving. Luo Wuqing grabbed her foxtail and rolled his eyes at her. Hee. A burst of bell-like laughter resounded throughout the canyon. Okay, everything is done. Let's go cultivate. Ning Tian grabbed the two women's hands again and stepped into the void in front of him. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared. This time, the cultivation would last for 2 months. Without the support of demonic aura, the canyon collapsed and turned into ruins. It was Ning Tian's spirit of not wasting that caused the canyon to collapse. It also stunned the people who came to investigate the cloud atlas of heaven and earth collection, the divine dominion. In an unknown place, the sky and earth were blood red, and there was a high temperature. The spiritual energy here was extremely scarce, as if there was a terrifying pressure of heaven and earth. A few figures appeared in this world, as if they were attacking something. Boom! A rumbling sound rang out. Then, a strange creature with a strange shape was smashed into pieces by a punch. Huff! Why are there more and more of these void beasts? Yi Wuyo frowned and shook his fist. There was a trace of doubt in his words. I think the seal has loosened. When Qing hugged her pipa, the sound god attack made the so-called void beasts in the surroundings not dare to approach at all. Seal? Yi Wuyo sighed. Ha ha ha. It's just a void beast. It's just right for me to practice my fist. If one comes, I'll destroy one. If two come, I'll destroy both. Peihu laughed. It was very difficult to have a chance to fight in the divine realm. Now that he was in an unknown place, he could do whatever he wanted without worrying about any consequences. The seal has loosened. Master seems to have gone to the Earth Spirit World to ask that person in the Earth Spirit World to take action. However, that person in the Earth Spirit World doesn't seem to plan on taking action, Mu Xianqing said softly with a frown. That's normal. The Earth Spirit World doesn't belong to the Divine Realm or the 9 regions. It's normal for them not to take action. In short, let's deal with these void beasts that have come out of the seal first. In 2 months, little junior brother and 2 sisters-in-law will come to the heavenly palace. As for the matter in 3 months, we still need little junior brother to do it. Yishuang looked at the people from the heavenly palace and said lightly, Oh, in 3 months? I'm really looking forward to little junior brother's performance in 3 months. Will he amaze those mighty figures in the divine realm? Haha. Peihu laughed, his words full of anticipation. The 9 supremes of the heavenly palace were also looking forward to it. In anticipation, they faced those void beasts. Time flew. 2 months later. Precept domain. With the life force provided by the core of life, the entire precept domain had regained its vitality. Many of the people in the precept domain had gradually recovered. Everything was exuding vitality. At this moment, In the void ship, hidden in the void of the precept domain, the three cultivators seem to be nearing the end of their cultivation. Author's words. A reader pointed out a mistake earlier. Ning Tian has already broken through to 5-star Ancestor God. That means he is now 6-star Ancestor God. I made a mistake. Sorry, I have to clarify it. Chapter 580. The void ship stopped in the precept domain. In the room. Phew. Ning Tian heaved a long sigh of relief. He felt a little tired. Today, the 2 months of bitter cultivation had finally come to an end. These two women are really ruthless. 9 out of 10 spiritual Cs have been drained. Feeling the weakness in his body, Ning Tian's mouth twitched. He sighed helplessly. Through these 2 months of cultivation, he had finally fed the 2 women. In these 2 months, he had been trying to open a new spiritual C. Only by exhausting the old spiritual Cs could he stimulate his potential and open a new spiritual C. In these 2 months, he could only exhaust a little bit of his spiritual Cs by fighting with the 2 women. Therefore, he had to find another way to transfer his spiritual Cs to the 2 women. However, he did not expect the 2 women to be so ruthless. 9 out of 10 spiritual Cs had been drained. However, finally, there was an opportunity. Phew! Ning Tian heaved a sigh of relief again and glanced at the 2 women beside him. At the side, Luo Wuqing had changed into the familiar blue and white dress. A ball of blazing heavenly flame covered her delicate body. Her aura was slowly rising. Beside him, although Su Yueyao was naked, her 9 furry fox tails covered her flawless body. While she was cultivating, her pair of playful fox ears swayed back and forth, making her look extremely adorable. Looking at the 2 women's irresistible aura, it was obvious that they were about to break through again. The 2 women were blessed by the heavens. It was not strange for them to break through 1 star in 2 months. On the other hand, Ning Tian did not show any signs of breaking through in these 2 months. He was still at the 6-star Ancestor God realm. After all, although his physique was stronger than the 2 women and he had cheats, his cultivation speed was not as fast as the 2 women. Because, if he wanted to break through, he had to fill up his spiritual Cs. One had to know, how big was the Ancestral Master's spiritual C? What was even more ridiculous was Ning Tian even wanted to open another spiritual C. According to a certain saying, the more spiritual Cs one had, the more possibilities one could have, and one could fight above one's level. That's right. Ning Tian didn't even think about beating up an opponent of the same level. He only wanted to beat up an opponent stronger than him. Let's begin then. The 11th Spirit C, or should I say, is there a Spirit C Dao among the 3,000 Great Daos? If not, can I create one myself? Ning Tian stroked his chin as a bold idea suddenly popped up in his mind. Anyway, let's give it a try. Ning Tian's eyes gleamed as he activated the Heavenly God record and started cultivating. Maybe there is a way. At this very moment. Dao Domain. Reincarnation Dao God stood at the peak of the Precept Domain and looked at the entire Precept Domain with satisfaction. He couldn't help but sigh. In these 2 months, with the existence of Ning Tian's core of life, the Precept Domain's spiritual qi has gradually recovered. Yes, the Ancestral Master's methods are very strong. Beside him, Demon God 9 Phoenix smiled at Dao God Reincarnation. 9 Phoenix, it's all thanks to you for gathering your clan members to help me rebuild my Precept Domain. Dao God Reincarnation hugged Demon God 9 Phoenix in his arms and chuckled. In these 2 months, his life force had also recovered. Although he couldn't recover his previous youthful appearance, he was at least middle-aged and no longer had a head of white hair. This is what I owe you. Demon God 9 Phoenix didn't say much and only shook his head slightly. Hearing that, Dao God Reincarnation sighed. Clan Leader, Senior Dao God, the reconstruction of the Precept Domain is almost complete. At this moment, a beautiful figure flew over. It was Demon King Phoenix Feather who had appeared at the peak of demons previously. She bowed to the 2 of them. Yes, it's been hard on you, Phoenix Feather. Demon God 9 Phoenix nodded slightly. Clan Leader, Senior Dao God. Where's the Ancestral Master? The beautiful eyes of the Phoenix Feather Demon King landed on the both of them, filled with curiosity. That day, the might of the Founder Master had truly piqued the curiosity of this Demon King. How could a human be able to control demonic chi and be so strong? Ancestral Master? Hearing that, the two of them raised their eyebrows. If it's Ningtian, he should be cultivating somewhere in the Precept Domain. After all, his mascot is in the Precept Domain. Tao God Reincarnation pondered for a moment, and then said with a hint of uncertainty in his tone, "Mascot? Is that a little lion? Where is it?" Demon King Phoenix Feather frowned. "Under your feet," Tao God Reincarnation said lightly. "Under your feet?" Demon King Phoenix Feather was stunned. Then, as if she had thought of something, her pretty face instantly changed. Only then did she realize that she had been hearing a muffled sound like thunder. It turned out that the sound was the Lion King snoring. The so-called peak of the Precept Domain was only the Lion King after it had enlarged. Ever since the Lion King swallowed the entire small demon region, it had fallen into a deep sleep and its body had undergone some changes. It can actually become so big? Wait, recently, there was a rumor that a little lion had swallowed the small demon region of the demon race. Could it be the Ancestral Master's mascot? Demon King Phoenix Feather's expression became a little rich. A pair of doubtful eyes landed on Tao God Reincarnation and Demon God 9 Phoenix. "You see through it, but don't say it." Tao God Reincarnation chuckled. Hiss! At this moment, Demon King Phoenix Feather was in a mess. Haha, with this spiritual energy, it will be much easier to restore the Precept Domain. Tao God Reincarnation ignored Demon King Phoenix Feather. He looked at the entire Precept Domain and couldn't help but laugh in relief. Boom. But at this moment, there was a series of rumbles in the sky. Huh. Tao God Reincarnation and the others were stunned. Looking at the rumbles in the sky and the appearance of dark clouds, Tao God Reincarnation's gaze turned solemn. Could it be that some almighty existence was about to descend upon the Precept Domain? Boom. And at this moment, there seemed to be a huge suction force erupting in the sky. The spiritual energy that had just recovered in the Precept Domain was all sucked in at this moment. Tao God Reincarnation. Seeing this scene, old Tao was dumbfounded. He had just been relieved that the spiritual energy in the Precept Domain had recovered, but it was going to be taken away in the next second? "You're going too far. You're going too far." A hint of anger flashed in Tao God Reincarnation's eyes. An extremely huge aura appeared in his body at this moment. It seemed like he was going to attack if there was a disagreement. "Old Tao, let me borrow the spiritual energy in your Precept Domain." But at this moment, there was a hearty laugh in the sky. "Huh, Ningtian? It's you?" Tao God Reincarnation was stunned. The aura on his body dissipated, and he immediately lost his temper. "Ningtian, what are you doing?" "Nothing. I'm just borrowing some spiritual energy in your Precept Domain to open a new Spirit Sea." Ningtian's casual voice sounded. "Spirit Sea? Then you can use it." Hearing this, Tao God Reincarnation heaved a sigh of relief. It was just a Spirit Sea. How much spiritual energy could it use? Chapter 581. Alright, don't worry. I will only use 100 million points of spiritual energy. As soon as Tao God Reincarnation said that, Ning Tian's voice was heard from the void. Then, it reverberated throughout the entire Precept Domain. Instantly, many Jin family members who had recovered from the Precept Domain looked up. A little. Hearing that, Tao God Reincarnation nodded. He didn't realize the severity of the problem at all. But soon, he creased his eyebrows and noticed that something was wrong. When he was fighting with Fiery Demon God, there was no more spiritual energy. It seemed that Ning Tian had given him a Spirit Sea. The Spirit Sea was huge, and he could use it freely. Moreover, it seemed that it was only this kid's smallest Spirit Sea. If that's the case, this kid didn't just use a little bit of spiritual energy to open his Spirit Sea, but 100 million points of spiritual energy? At that moment, Tao God Reincarnation finally realized the severity of the problem. Boom. At that very moment, there was a huge suction force. Then, all the spiritual energy above the precept domain was sucked over. What's going on? There's no more spiritual energy above the precept domain? Could it be the person who saved us that Tao God said did it? To be able to absorb such a huge amount of spiritual energy, what is he trying to do? At that moment, on the precept domain, the Jin family members who had just recovered from the precept domain were shocked. Although they hadn't seen Ning Tian before, they had heard from Tao God reincarnation that Ning Tian had helped the precept domain. Naturally, they were grateful. At the sight of that, they were even more in awe of their savior whom they had never met before. This kid, Tao God reincarnation's face darkened and the corner of his mouth twitched. He suddenly recalled that he had used Ning Tian's spiritual energy without restraint. Now, Ning Tian had taken away all the spiritual energy that had just recovered from the precept domain. This, you might have made a small profit, but Grandmaster would never make a loss. Boom. In the sky, all the spiritual energy gathered. The vigorous spiritual energy gathered into a spirit sea that was neither big nor small. At this very moment, on the void battleship, Ning Tian was sitting cross-legged on the deck, absorbing the spirit sea that was continuously gathering in his precept domain. What he needed to do was to absorb the spirit sea and transform it into his 11th spirit sea. Absorbing spiritual energy, opening the 11th spirit sea. In his mind, the system's voice continued to ring out as Ning Tian's spiritual sea continued to expand. 10 minutes later, Tao God reincarnation and the other members of the Tao domain watched as the spirit chi dissipated bit by bit. They couldn't help but smile helplessly. As expected of their ancestral master, he could absorb such a huge amount of spirit chi in less than 10 minutes. Although the precept domain's spirit chi had just recovered, it was still a domain after all. The spirit chi was very impressive. However, it had only been 10 minutes, and Ning Tian had already absorbed all of it. This was truly a little inconceivable. What a pity. This amount of spiritual chi is not enough for me to open a spiritual sea. However, at this moment, a sigh sounded from the void and resounded throughout the entire precept domain. This bit of spiritual energy? Hearing this, the expressions of the people from the Tao domain were extremely interesting. The F*CK? This is also called a bit of spiritual energy? If anyone else were to absorb this amount of spirit chi, they might explode, right? The ancestral master actually said that this amount of spirit chi was not enough for him to open a spiritual sea? This kid, Tao God reincarnation couldn't help but laugh bitterly. At this moment, on the deck of the void ship, Ning Tian was indeed telling the truth. This amount of spirit chi was really not enough for him to open a spiritual sea. Feeling the lack of spirit chi in his body, Ning Tian frowned and muttered, "It would be great if I could make a trip to the middle state region. The spirit chi there should be enough for me to open a spiritual sea." The middle state region was in danger. You shocked Tao God reincarnation. You shocked Demon God 9 Phoenix. You shocked Demon God Phoenix. You shocked everyone in the Jin family of the Tao domain. Reward, Key of Spirit Chi. At this moment, the system's voice sounded in Ning Tian's mind. Key of Spirit Chi? Hearing this, Ning Tian raised his eyebrows slightly and was a little curious. Key of Spirit Chi. After obtaining this item, the host can produce a huge amount of Spirit Chi on his own. In other words, it is the Spirit Sea Path. Oh, Spirit Sea Path? Ning Tian's lips curled into a smile. The system knew him well. Cultivators could absorb Spirit Chi, but they couldn't produce Spirit Chi on their own. In that case, he didn't have to absorb Spirit Chi from other regions. The crisis of the middle state region was resolved. Let me see how much Spirit Chi the Key of Spirit Chi can produce. Ning Tian muttered. Then, he silently activated the Key of Spirit Chi in his body. Key of Spirit Chi, activate. Boom. Almost instantly, a loud explosion erupted from the void, followed by a huge amount of spirit chi erupting from the sky. All of a sudden, the entire Tao domain trembled. That aura swept through the entire Tao domain, and all the buildings that had just been built collapsed in an instant. Tao God reincarnation was speechless. Demon God 9 Phoenix was speechless. Demon King Phoenix Feather was speechless. Everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't know what had happened. 9 Phoenix. I might have to ask your clansmen to help rebuild it again. I forgot that this kid's cultivation will cause real damage to the surrounding buildings. I miscalculated, Tao God Reincarnation said with a dark face. He remembered that it was in the tomb in the peaceful ocean. After Ning Tian finished his cultivation, the tomb was in a mess. Okay. Demon God 9 Phoenix nodded helplessly. Roar? As if sensing the aura of the house being demolished, a sleeping lion cub quietly woke up. Roar grass? Ancestral Master demolished the house and didn't call Master Lion? The reason for all of this was because Ning Tian had activated the key of Spirit Qi. The moment he activated it, the Spirit Qi in his body directly increased, turning into a huge aura that erupted from his body. System, isn't the speed of Spirit Qi production a little too fast? The corner of Ning Tian's mouth twitched. The huge burst of Spirit Qi just now was much more than the Spirit Qi of the entire precept domain that had just recovered. The speed at which the key of Spirit Qi produces Spirit Qi depends on the size of the host's Spirit Qi. In other words, the more Spirit Qi one has, the faster the speed of production. However, it will be limited by the host's strength. The system explained. Is there a limit? Ning Tian raised his eyebrows. He did feel the limit now. If it depends on one's strength and Spirit Qi, then I still have to absorb more Spirit Qi. The middle state region was in danger again. Forget it. Let's condense the Spirit Qi first. Ning Tian condensed the Spirit Qi again. With the Spirit Qi just now, it was enough to condense the 11th Spirit Qi. Another 10 minutes later, the people of the precept domain only heard a roar above their heads. A huge Spirit Qi condensed above their heads. Phew. I've finally condensed the 11th Spirit Qi. Unfortunately, it's still not enough. A sigh sounded in everyone's ears. @%yin hashtag. Hearing this, the people of the precept domain were speechless. Listen, is this human language? Unfortunately, they didn't know that Ning Tian hadn't been a human for a long time. Author's words, as usual, there's one more update. I'll write after I wake up. Chapter 582. In the Void, on the Void Ship. Phew. Finally, the condensation is complete. Ning Tian stretched his back and slowly got up from the deck in satisfaction. He could feel the strong spiritual energy surging in his body. The 2 months of bitter cultivation was finally over. Not bad. I'm not weak in the ancestral god realm. I wonder how many stars I can surpass in the heavenly god realm? Forget it. Let's see if my wife and the others are done with their cultivation. Ning Tian muttered to himself as he stroked his chin. Then, he walked toward his room on the void ship. Calculating the time, it was time to head to the heavenly palace. Back in the room, he saw Luo Wuqing was still in the midst of cultivation. Heavenly fire surrounded her delicate body, and her beautiful eyes were closed. It seemed that she would not come out of seclusion for a while. If that's the case, I can only let my wife cultivate first. Anyway, we're on the void ship. At worst, we can go directly to the heavenly palace. Seeing this scene, Ning Tian quickly came up with a plan. The first wife is not done yet. Where is the second wife? Ning Tian turned his head. Where is she? However, when he turned around, there was no one. Sui Weiyao, who was supposed to be sitting there, was nowhere to be seen. She was alive? Ning Tian frowned. Suddenly, a fragrant wind blew over. Then, a soft touch pressed against his back. A pair of jade-like hands wrapped around his waist. A soft voice rang in his ear. Hubby, are you looking for me? Ning Tian couldn't help but quiver when she heard the soft and numbing voice. Little wife, are you done with your seclusion? Ning Tian raised his eyebrows. Yes, I'm at the ancestral god realm. Sui Weiyao hugged Ning Tian and nodded slightly. 7 stars. So fast. Then how should I give birth to this child? Ning Tian's brain had always been wired in a strange way. Haha, if I want to give birth, I should let Mr. Wuqing give birth first. Sui Weiyao giggled. So, after you finished cultivating, Why are you hugging me? Ning Tian turned his head and looked at his little wife seriously. As a serious person, he was naturally very serious. Patriarch only wanted to figure out the thoughts of a concubine. Was that wrong? Yes. Su Yueyao's bell-like laughter carried a trace of ridicule. Ning Tian slowly typed a question mark. Little wife, you're driving. Oh, really? Su Yueyao giggled with a hint of provocation in her beautiful eyes. She mimicked Ning Tian's serious demeanor and said, I just want to do something more serious, such as communicating in the spirit sea. Communication in the spirit sea? I understand. Ning Tian chuckled and pulled Su Yueyao into his arms. One day later, Old Dao, we're going to the heavenly palace. In the precept domain hall, Ning Tian pulled Su Yueyao to the side and said slowly to Dao God Reincarnation. As for his first wife, she was still in seclusion on the void ship. Okay, come back to the precept domain when you have time, or come to me if you need anything. Dao God Reincarnation nodded slightly. Okay, then we'll leave first. Ning Tian chuckled and pulled Su Yueyao up, while the sealed flame Lion King turned into a small one and followed behind them. Wait. Dao God Reincarnation also got up and stopped him. Huh, what's wrong? Ning Tian frowned and looked at Dao God Reincarnation with a trace of doubt. Come with me. I'll show you something before we leave. Dao God Reincarnation smiled mysteriously and took the lead to walk out of the hall. Seeing the old man's mysterious look, Ning Tian had to follow with Su Yueyao. He had no idea what the old man was up to. The group left the precept domain hall. They came to a tall mountain. Ning Tian, look over there. Dao God Reincarnation chuckled and pointed at the center of the precept domain. The core of life that Ning Tian gave him was buried there. It was because of the core of life that he had the precept domain today in just 2 months. Huh. Ning Tian looked over with doubt. That's soon. He realized that something was wrong. Hee. Is this my husband's stone statue? Su Yueyao looked over too. Not far away, there was a 100-meter-tall stone statue standing in the center of the precept domain. Judging from its outline, it was not difficult to tell that the original form of the stone statue was Ning Tian himself. Although this stone statue is a little rough, it was only carved by some juniors in the precept domain. I hope you don't mind. Dao God Reincarnation chuckled. After he told the people who had awakened the precept domain about what Ning Tian had done for the precept domain, some juniors spontaneously carved such a stone statue for Ning Tian. It's already very good. Why would I mind? Ning Tian chuckled and shook his head. The juniors in the precept domain had just awakened and did not even have much spirit chi. It was already very impressive that they could carve a 100-meter-tall stone statue for him. Suddenly, Ning Tian seemed to have thought of something. Wait for me, he said to the few of them and then took a step forward. In the blink of an eye, he came in front of his stone statue. At that moment, Su Yueyao, Dao God Reincarnation, and the others were looking at him in confusion. And this scene was witnessed by all the people who had awakened the precept domain. Countless pairs of eyes fell on Ning Tian with a trace of respect in their eyes. First of all, thank you for carving this stone statue for me. I quite like it. Ning Tian looked at the countless people in the precept domain and said slowly. Hearing this, the juniors who were carving the stone statue were very excited. But I hope you remember what I'm going to say next. Ning Tian's tone became serious and dignified. Immediately, the breathing of the people in the precept domain below became heavier. Those eyes that were looking at Ning Tian became even more fixed. I saved the precept domain, but I didn't save you. The one who saved you is a lady named Bai Lu. 1 soul dies and 10,000 souls live. I hope you won't forget. As soon as these words came out, the surroundings were as silent as death. On the mountain peak not far away, Su Yueyao, Dao God Reincarnation, and the others also looked solemn. That's right, Ning Tian had only saved the precept domain. That was all. The one who saved the people in the precept domain was Bai Lu. Remember, you are always the strongest. Even if Old Man Dao is here, he can only protect you for a while, not forever. Looking at the faces of the people in the precept domain who rejoiced after surviving a disaster, Ning Tian frowned and said faintly, What appeared on their faces should not be rejoicing after surviving a disaster. Instead, introspection after surviving a disaster. Vigilance. Why was the precept domain destroyed previously? It was because they were weak. If they only rejoiced now and did not reflect, they could still be destroyed in the future because they were weak. Ning Tian. Hearing this, Tao God reincarnation looked solemn. He naturally understood this principle, but he did not know how to say it. But now, Ning Tian warned the people in the precept domain before leaving. Around them, there was silence. After a long time, the awakened people in the precept domain digested these words. Their hearts trembled as they looked at Ning Tian's figure in the sky. At that moment, the figure seemed to be glowing. You have shocked the people in the precept domain. At this moment, the system's voice sounded in his mind. Chapter 583. You have shocked the people of the precept domain. Heart of the human race has been activated. Accept faith. Reward host. Light of faith. Light of faith. The human race has a trace of reverence for the host. The degree of reverence is affected by the host's strength. The power of faith has returned. When the heart of the human race has gathered all the faith energy, it can release a light of faith that can fight for the host. The duration of the battle is affected by the faith energy. Current level of accumulation of light of faith, 010000. In his mind, the system's voice kept ringing. In the small world of his Dantian, the heart of the human race that had been immersed in it for a long time finally started to beat violently. Countless golden lights that only Ning Tian could see emanated from the people of the precept domain and slowly rushed toward him. The heart of the human race shone with golden light. The heart of the demon race was the demonic aura. The heart of the demon race was the bloodline, and the heart of the human race was the faith. The demonic aura could be seized, and the bloodline could be absorbed. However, faith was the most difficult. Faith required reverence from the heart. Coercion was ineffective. Heart of the human race is beating. Detected the power of faith. Light of faith, +1. Detected the power of faith. Light of faith, +3. Current, 500. 010000. 5000? Seeing the storage of the light of faith, Ning Tian's lips curled up slightly. Looking at the awakened people of the precept domain below, he suddenly had an idea. He muttered in his heart, System, since I can regain the light of faith, I can finally use the array of faith that I have not used for a long time, right? Of course. The system's voice faded. Okay, wait for me to improve it. Your array of faith is too rigid. Ning Tian chuckled and the power of the array appeared in his hands. The system was speechless. At this moment, the system suddenly felt that its host was even more heaven-defying than it was. This was because Ning Tian was modifying the plugin. After a long time, a dazzling golden light appeared in Ning Tian's hands. It was a tiny array. Phew, I finally succeeded. System, your array of faith is quite easy to modify. I can tell with the array eye. The system was speechless. Was he modifying the plugin? Since the faith formation has been improved, I'll leave it here. Ning Tian looked around and fixed his gaze on the top of the statue's head. The golden light in his hand pressed down gently. Boom. In a split second, golden light shone. The faith array formation that he had modified could be placed alone without him needing to rely on himself. It could also be used for the cultivation of faith. Even if he left the Tao domain, as long as the array formation remained, he could still absorb the light of faith. After all, there were still some people in the Tao domain that had yet to awaken. This was the energy of the light of faith. How could he let it go just like that? Wow. Patriarch has turned into light. That's not right. It's the stone statues of the patriarchs we carved. They turned into light. Upon seeing this scene of golden light, the awakened subjects of the Tao domain widened their eyes in excitement. Ning Tian stepped into the void and floated around the stone statue as he looked at the group of citizens of the precept domain. This is the faith array formation that I set up. Those who have faith in their hearts, within 1,000 feet of this stone statue, will receive the blessing of spiritual energy and increase their cultivation speed. Faith array formation? Is it really useful? The group of Dao domain children was puzzled. Roar, 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 roar. At this moment, the mascot that had turned into a small one roared a few times and grew to a size of 100 meters. The demonic aura circulating around its body wrote 8 lion-shaped words in the air. Patriarch is awesome. Eternal God? A Dao domain citizen looked at those 8 words and subconsciously read them out loud. Boom. At that moment, a mass of spiritual energy surged out of his body. Following that, his aura continued to soar. Damn it. Damn it. I can't take it anymore. Quickly stop. I don't want to become stronger. If I become stronger, how can I restore my strength through dual cultivation? Damn it. Damn it. This was his last bit of stubbornness. The Dao domain citizen was dumbfounded. His aura continued to break through. In almost the blink of an eye, his strength had recovered by half. The strength of these Dao domain citizens was sealed because of their soul bodies. Now, with just one sentence of the 8 words, they had recovered half of their previous strength. Seeing this scene, the group of Dao domain citizens was stunned. Their eyes flashed as they seemed to understand something. Next, countless citizens took a deep breath. Their faces were flushed with excitement as they roared out loud. Patriarch is awesome. Eternal God. There was a loud roar. Boom, boom. They saw, from the golden stone statue, a huge amount of spiritual energy erupted. The aura of the Dao domain citizens suddenly soared. Damn it, it actually worked. There's nothing more to say. Patriarch is awesome. Bathed in the golden spiritual energy, the Dao domain citizens were extremely excited. They looked at Ning Tian, who was standing beside the stone statue, as if they were looking at a god. Their hearts trembled. It actually worked? Dao God Reincarnation and Demon God 9 Phoenix looked on and could not help but be shocked. Senior Dao God, everything that hubby has done is naturally useful. At the side, Su Yueyao giggled. Old Dao, do you want to shout a few words too? Maybe it really works. At this moment, Ning Tian's voice sounded in their ears. Everyone looked and found that he had unknowingly arrived beside them. That won't do. I want to save face. Dao God Reincarnation swallowed his saliva. To be honest, he was a little tempted, but after thinking about it, he decided not to. Hearing that, Ning Tian spread his hands. What was face? Could it be eaten? You have shocked the Dao domain citizens. You have shocked Dao God Reincarnation. You have shocked Demon God 9 Phoenix. Reward: Time Scissors. Time Scissors, effect unknown, not to be told for now. In his mind, the system's voice sounded again. Hearing that, Ning Tian could not help but fall silent. The system was keeping him in suspense again. Forget it. Old Dao, it's about time. We'll be leaving. I look forward to the next time we meet. Your Dao domain has returned to its peak. Ning Tian looked at Dao God Reincarnation and said sincerely, Ha ha ha. Then I'll take advantage of your auspicious words, Ning Tian. Dao God Reincarnation chuckled. It's a long journey. Let's part ways here. Now that the matter of the Dao domain was settled, the next step was to head to Heaven Palace. As soon as he said that, the void ship appeared. Ning Tian pulled Su Yueyao and stepped onto the void ship with the flame-sealing Lion King. Soon, under the gaze of the Dao domain citizens, the void ship slowly disappeared. Phew, that kid is finally gone. Dao God Reincarnation heaved a sigh of relief. He looked at the stone statue that was shining with golden light and was eager to try. Ancestral Master is awesome. You will always be a god. There was a loud shout. It came out from Dao God Reincarnation's mouth. Then, his old face turned red. He felt the flow of spirit energy in his body and could not help but feel excited. It's indeed useful. Haha, old Dao, of course it's useful. Ha ha ha. Then, at this moment, Ning Tian's teasing voice sounded. Dao God Reincarnation's old face turned red. He was instantly dumbfounded. F***CK. Ning Tian, you brat. Why are you still here? If I'm not here, how can I hear you praising me? Haha, I'm leaving. With a loud laugh, the void ship that was hidden in the void finally disappeared. This brat. Tao God Reincarnation smiled helplessly. Then, he looked at the stone statue again. Soon, in the Tao domain, the ancestral master's awesome voice sounded continuously. There are still 2 more updates. Sorry, there are too many things going on at home today. I have to help out. There are still 2 more updates. Readers, don't wait. Wait until tomorrow. Chapter 584. In the Void. A massive, pitch-black battleship streaked through the void. The Heaven Palace was located in the Heaven Domain, and the Heaven Domain was a few days' journey away from the Precept Domain. During these few days, Ning Tian could properly cultivate. Honey, what is the Celestial Domain like? Su Yueyao sat on the deck while Ning Tian rested his head on her white legs. From time to time, he would touch the soft and fluffy foxtail. Hearing his little wife's question, he couldn't help but smile. The Celestial Domain. The Celestial Domain is about half the size of the Demon God Domain. According to Senior Sister, the Celestial Domain is the highest place in the entire God Domain. Other than a desert, there is nothing else. And the Celestial Palace is the only force in the entire Celestial Domain. There is no one there. No one there. Does that mean the Celestial Domain only has the 9 Supremes of the Celestial Palace? Hearing this, Su Yueyao couldn't help but feel curious. Even if it was only half the size of the Demon God Domain, it was still a huge domain. How could there be less than 10 people in such a huge domain? Of course, with my senior brother and the others. Who would dare to take half a step into the Celestial Domain? Ning Tian spread his hands, indicating that it was normal. What about the Celestial Palace? Su Yueyao asked again. The Celestial Palace is built on top of a mountain. It is very majestic. It should be dozens of times bigger than the main hall of the Tianma cult. Ning Tian moved his head to make himself more comfortable. As he spoke, he played with the fluffy foxtail. Haha, then I look forward to it, Su Yueyao chuckled. Her seductive eyes fell on Ning Tian. Her voice was soft and charming. Honey, you have to know that the tail is a very important part of a fox demon. You can't touch it casually. Oh? So what if I touch it? Ning Tian's lips curled into a smile. He grabbed it with force in a provocative manner. Su Yueyao subconsciously made a soft sound of acknowledgement. Then a blush appeared on her pretty face. She raised her eyes and looked seriously at Ning Tian. You will attract fire. Ning Tian was stunned, and then his body was entangled by the 9 soft fox tails. The F***CK? At this very moment, Ancient God Cloud Atlas, the collection of heaven and earth. Scarlet Flame is dead? Blood Demon is also dead? The 2 guys we planted in the small demon realm are both dead? The Ancient God King frowned. After hearing the information from his subordinates, his expression turned ugly. He looked at the several figures in front of him and asked calmly, Do you know who killed them? Lord Ancient Heavenly God, Qi Yin was killed by Tao God Reincarnation. As for Blood Demon, he was killed by a 300-meter-long demonic body. Furthermore, most importantly, the Devil Emperor of the Devil race seems to be searching for us. One of the divine shadows bowed to the ancient heavenly god and said slowly, Oh? Hearing this, the ancient god's eyes lit up. He looked at one of the godly shadows and said, Azure Demon, is this true? The Azure Demon he spoke of was none other than the Azure Demon who had reported the situation in the Great Hall of the Demon Race that day. Unexpectedly, he was also a pawn that the ancient God Cloud Atlas of heaven and earth had planted in the Devil Race. Lord Ancient Heavenly God, that is indeed the case. The Devil Emperor suspects that the disappearance of the small demon realm is related to the Cloud Atlas of heaven and earth. However, I suspect that the Devil Emperor has long known that Qi Yin and Blood Demon are pawns. The disappearance of the small demon realm is actually caused by the Devil Emperor. Otherwise, the small demon realm would not have disappeared so cleanly. The reason why he said that is probably to test whether there are other pawns in the Devil race. Azure Demon bowed slightly and said slowly based on his own judgment, Oh? The disappearance of the small demon realm is because the Devil Emperor has discovered the pawns. So he simply destroyed the small demon realm? The ancient heavenly god frowned and said seriously, given the Devil Emperor's ruthlessness, it is indeed possible. Azure Demon, are you sure your deduction is correct? The ancient heavenly god frowned. Lord Ancient Heavenly God, don't worry. I am not good at other things, but my intelligence has always been good. My deduction is definitely correct. Azure Demon chuckled. His words were full of confidence. What a joke. He had won the Devil Race's Excellent Deduction Award before. Moreover, in the past few days, when I went to the place left behind by the dark turmoil in the Precept Domain, I found that it had already been discovered by others. Even the original Devil Chi had disappeared. You should know that the thing left behind in that place is related to the Buddha Demon Pagoda. In the entire Devil Race, perhaps only the Devil Emperor can absorb all the Devil Chi. A glint flashed across the Azure Fiend's eyes as he uttered another heavy sentence. As soon as he said that, the surrounding divine shadows fell into silence. Lord Ancient Heavenly God, how should we deal with the Precept Domain now? Azure Demon looked at the Ancient Heavenly God. The Precept Domain. The Ancient Heavenly God pondered for a moment and shook his head. No need. The thing left behind by the dark turmoil must have been taken away by the Devil Race. There is no need to touch the Precept Domain. Perhaps Ning Tian did not know that his action had not only pushed the boat with the current, but also saved the Precept Domain. The Ancestral Master's action was probably in the atmosphere. That's right. Even if your forces participate in the matter 1 month later, don't involve the cloud atlas of heaven and earth. There is no need to fight with the heavenly palace for the time being. The ancient heavenly god looked at the divine shadows and said indifferently, the heavenly palace? The heavenly palace also wants to participate, but those from the heavenly palace can't enter the secret realm. Hearing this, the godly shadows immediately panicked. The 9 supremes of the heavenly palace can't enter, but the heavenly palace has a 10th person now. The ancient heavenly god said indifferently. In his mind, the figure he saw on the ancient road to godhood appeared. Yes, several days later. In the heaven domain, a huge battleship sailed out of the void. At the same time, a ball of flames appeared. My wife finally came out of seclusion. Ning Tian's eyes lit up when he saw the enormous heavenly flame aura that appeared on the void ship. With such an aura, it seemed that his first wife was about to come out of seclusion after 2 months of seclusion. Hee. Look at Wu Qing's aura. I'm afraid his cultivation base has improved a lot. At the side, Su Yueyao's complexion was unusually good after a few days of cultivation. Yes. Ning Tian nodded slightly. On the void battleship, the heavenly flame slowly dissipated. The door was pushed open. Luo Wuqing walked out slowly in a blue and white dress. Wife, how's your breakthrough? Ning Tian looked over with a smile. His gaze landed on the slim figure. Wife, you should be a 7-star ancestor god now, right? It was not difficult for Luo Wuqing to break through 1 star in 2 months. No, however. Luo Wuqing shook her head slightly. Then, 8 stars? Ning Tian raised his eyebrows. No, 9 stars. Luo Wuqing looked indifferent and shook her head slightly. Ning Tian, question mark. Chapter 585. 9 star? Ning Tian was stunned for a moment. His wife should have been a 6-star ancestor god previously. She had become a 9-star in just 2 months? Dear, is there something wrong with you? Let me check for you. Ning Tian walked over with a caring tone. Then, his hands moved around Luo Wuqing's body mischievously. Is this your so-called check? Luo Wuqing rolled her eyes at him and slapped his mischievous hands away. She said, is it very difficult to break through to 3-star in 2 months? Ning Tian was speechless. In the past 2 months, I feel that the heavenly fire law has been constantly strengthening. The strengthening of the heavenly fire law has directly led to the cultivation of the Holy Sun Constitution. Therefore, my cultivation has been very smooth in the past 2 months. Luo Wuqing said seriously. The strengthening of the heavenly fire law? Hearing this, Ning Tian seemed to have thought of something. He reached out and held Luo Wuqing's soft hands. The latter thought that this guy was going to take advantage of her again. She was about to break free when she saw Ning Tian's extremely serious face. She could only give up. Ning Tian sensed for a while, and his expression instantly became interesting. Damn, how could this be? He had previously planted an array in the fire territory, and the people of the fire territory would strengthen the heavenly fire law when they cultivated. He had also bound the heavenly fire with Luo Wuqing. However, his heavenly fire law had not made much progress. He had thought that the people of the fire territory were too stupid and did not know how to cultivate. Now that he looked at it, it turned out that all the strengthening had gone to his wife. System, what is going on? Ning Tian raised his eyebrows slightly and asked. System, replying to the host, your wife has the Holy Sun constitution and is strengthened by the heavenly fire law. Since you have many laws, the strengthening naturally takes precedence over your wife. Ning Tian was speechless. Forget it. It did not matter. In any case, strengthening his wife was the same as strengthening him. Moreover, just as the system had said, he had grasped quite a lot of nomological laws. Even if the heavenly fire nomological laws were slightly weaker, it did not matter. Honey, it looks like we won't be able to have children for the time being. Ning Tian shrugged. Upon hearing this, Luo Wuqing could not help but roll his eyes at him. What an evil, old, pervert, lecher. Little wife, it seems like only you. Ning Tian looked at Su Yueyao. Haha, honey, I can't give birth to a child either. After a few days of serious cultivation, I accidentally broke through. Su Yueyao mimicked Ning Tian and spread her hands with a giggle. Ning Tian fell into silence. System, am I the one who cheated? Or are my wives the ones who cheated? Ning Tian questioned with his soul. The system replied, of course it's because you helped your wife cheat. I understand the logic, but why do I feel like you're tongue-twisting? Ning Tian couldn't help but roll his eyes. There was no doubt that the two women had a breakthrough because of him. The first wife's heavenly fire nomological laws were strengthened by the fire domain's formation of 10,000 people. The second wife's fox demon ultimate charm was strengthened when she did serious business. All of these had something to do with him. It looks like I can only live off women. Sigh, this is so annoying. I've never lived off women. Ning Tian rubbed his chin and said seriously. His words made the two women roll their eyes. Haha, let's go. We've arrived at the heavenly domain. We'll see the heavenly palace soon. Ning Tian laughed, and then asked one of the tool lions to speed up the void ship. 10 minutes later, the void ship stopped in front of a mountain range. The three of them stood on the deck and looked at the scene in front of them in confusion. Honey, is this the heavenly palace? Yes, honey, didn't you say? The heavenly palace is very grand? Yes. Then why is it a ruin? Su Yueyao asked with her soul. That's right. In front of them, on top of the mountain range, there was a grand ruin. Maybe we came to the wrong place. Ning Tian coughed and his face darkened. He had only left the heavenly palace for half a year. How did it become a ruin? Was there really a force in the heavenly domain that dared to attack the heavenly palace? And they could even turn the heavenly palace into a ruin? Haha, junior brother, you didn't come to the wrong place. This is the heavenly palace. At this moment, a familiar rough laughter sounded from the side. Seventh senior brother? Hearing this, Ning Tian turned around and saw the 9 supremes of the heavenly palace in the sky not far away. Oh no, it should be 8 figures. Yi Wuyo was nowhere to be seen. Where's 8th senior brother? Ning Tian raised his eyebrows slightly. 8th junior brother? Oh, I don't know where 8th junior brother got some word dismantling technique and said that he wanted to show it to us. Then the heavenly palace was gone, and so was 8th junior brother. He has been suppressed under the ice by eldest senior sister to reflect on his mistakes. Pei Hu said as he glanced at Yi Shuang. Now, eldest senior sister is preparing to find the guy who taught 8th junior brother the word dismantling technique and suppress him together. Woo, hearing this, a certain little lion's heart trembled. Haha, so that's how it is. I've never heard of the word-splitting art. Eighth senior brother, you're just courting death, Ning Tian said without blushing or skipping a beat. Then, she looked at the 8 people from the heavenly palace and chuckled. Senior brothers and sisters, long time no see. Little junior brother, long time no see. The 8 people of the 9 supremes of the heavenly palace smiled and greeted him. Seeing this scene, Ning Tian couldn't help but feel warm in his heart. It seemed that his senior brothers and sisters missed him very much. However, when the 9 supremes of the heavenly palace came over, they directly ignored the smiling Ning Tian and looked at the 2 women beside him. What little junior brother? Was he more important than sisters-in-law? Obviously not. The 2 sisters-in-law are so beautiful. Sigh. Such beautiful cabbages have been taken by little junior brother. What a pity. 9th senior sister Mu Xianqing sighed with a hint of ridicule in her words. 9th senior sister. Ning Tian's old face darkened. Even if he is a pig, have you ever seen such a handsome pig? Hearing this, the several women present couldn't help but laugh. After a conversation, Luo Wuqing bowed slightly to the 9 supremes of the heavenly palace and said slowly, My husband is indebted to senior brothers and sisters for taking care of him. Haha, we're all family. No need to be so polite. Pei Hu laughed, and Wen Qing and the others nodded in agreement. The more they looked at Luo Wuqing and Su Yueyao, the more satisfied they were. Whether it was the temperament, appearance, or talent, the 2 women were completely worthy of their little junior brother. I feel that little junior brother must have saved the world in his previous life. Otherwise, how could he have such good wives? Mu Xianqing looked at Ning Tian jokingly. 9th senior sister had always been mischievous. 9th senior sister, please spare me. The reason I have such good wives is entirely because of my outstanding personality and charm, Ning Tian said with a straight face. The 9 supremes of the heavenly palace cast a puzzled look. The plot may be a bit day-to-day. Well, it's a bit watery. It can't be helped. It's a transitional period. Chapter 586. It's still that familiar smell. As expected of little junior brother. He's still so shameless. Seeing how shameless little junior apprentice brother is, I'm relieved. It looks like the ways of the world outside the realm of the gods haven't changed little junior apprentice brother by much. Should we secretly hammer little junior apprentice brother and let him experience the ways of the world and the dangers of society? The 9 supremes of the heavenly palace discussed. Seeing this scene, Ning Tian's face darkened. This was plotting loudly? The 2 women beside him couldn't help but chuckle. There was a saying that was very good. Evil people would be dealt with by evil people. Then, in front of Ning Tian, the 9 supremes of the heavenly palace loudly plotted all kinds of ways to educate little junior brother. But, in the end, no one was willing to do it. Ning Tian looked at them in annoyance. What are you after? So they discussed for a long time and couldn't bear to do it in the end? Then wouldn't he have thought of a way to deal with it in vain? I don't know. Mu Xianqing giggled. Ning Tian was silent for a while, and then looked at senior sister Yi Shuang. Among the senior brothers and sisters, eldest senior sister was the most serious. Even the gentle 3rd senior sister, Wen Qing, was occasionally naughty. Eldest senior sister, why did you ask us to come to the heavenly palace? Let's talk in the main hall, Yi Shuang said faintly. The main hall? Ning Tian raised his eyebrows and looked at the ruins. Then let me find the main hall of the heavenly palace. There's no need to go through so much trouble. Yi Shuang shook her head slightly. Then, under everyone's gaze, she slowly raised her hand and a touch of frost condensed in her hand. Then, the surrounding temperature dropped and frost appeared on the ruins of the heavenly palace below. Soon, an ice hall stood on the ruins. Controlling the laws to the extreme is simply a pleasure. Seeing this scene, Ning Tian couldn't help but sigh. Haha, don't worry, little junior brother. You can also do it to eldest senior sister's level. Pei Hu patted Ning Tian's shoulder and laughed. It's difficult. Ning Tian shook his head slightly. Oh? Hearing this, the other members of the 9 supremes of the heavenly palace could not help but look over. Was this little demon finally planning to become a human? After all, I've grasped a lot of laws. It's still a little difficult for me to reach the level of first senior sister. Ning Tian shook his head and said seriously. Hearing this, the 9 supremes of the heavenly palace fell silent. Although little junior brother admitted that it would be very difficult for him to do it, why did it feel like he was just pretending? Why don't we chase little junior brother out? Pei Hu scratched his head. The last person who said he wanted to chase little junior brother out has already faced the wall in the ice to reflect on his actions. 7th junior brother, you have to think twice before you act. Wen Qing hugged the pipa and said with a light smile, cough. Pretend I didn't say anything. Pei Hu let out a dry cough. Let's go. Follow me. Yi Shuang said indifferently. Then, she took the lead and walked towards the ice palace. Seeing this, Wen Qing and the others also followed. Wife, little wife, let's go too, Ning Tian said. Then, he stretched out his big hand and held the soft and boneless hands of the 2 women generously. He followed the footsteps of the few people. However, there was a small lion that refused to leave even if it was beaten to death. It stayed on the void ship and refused to leave. Ning Tian could not do anything about the Lion King. He could only leave it on the void ship. After all, this fellow was afraid that it would accidentally destroy Yi Shuang's ice palace. Otherwise, it would also have to face the wall in the ice to reflect on its actions. First senior sister, can you tell me what's going on now? In the ice palace. Ning Tian looked at Yi Shuang curiously and asked. Yes. Yi Shuang nodded slightly. She looked at Ning Tian and the other 2 and said slowly, little junior brother, have you heard of the Big Dipper secret realm? Big Dipper secret realm? I've never heard of it. Ning Tian raised his eyebrows and shook his head slightly. I've heard my grandfather mention it, but I don't know the details. Luo Wuqing frowned slightly. After pondering for a while, she said in a cold voice. Among the 3 of them, she was the only one who had stayed in the deity plane. Your grandfather, Saint Sun God, had also been to the Big Dipper secret realm. He was one of the top 3 in the Big Dipper boundary tablet. Although he did not leave his name, he was recognized by the old fossils of the fire domain and took control of the fire domain. Yi Shuang said lightly. If one did not look at her appearance, Yi Shuang's seniority was much higher than Saint Sun God's. Big Dipper secret realm. Big Dipper boundary tablet. Old fossils of the fire domain. Hearing this, Ning Tian frowned slightly. He could gather some information from Yi Shuang's words. This so-called Big Dipper secret realm seemed to have always existed in the deity plane. The fire domain was not as simple as he had imagined. Since the destruction of the small demon domain, he had been puzzled. The fire domain seemed to be very powerful, but his dear grandfather was only a peak divine realm expert. How could he maintain the fire domain as the strongest with such strength? But now, after hearing Yi Shuang's words, he finally understood. In fact, he had overlooked the hidden strength of the fire domain. Saint Sun God was only the strongest in the fire domain on the surface. The real deterrent of the forces of other domains was actually the old fossils of the fire domain. Then, what is this Big Dipper secret realm? Sui Weiyao could not help but ask. Ning Tian and Luo Wuqing also looked over. The Big Dipper secret realm is the treasure of the heavenly path, Yi Shuang said lightly. Treasure? Ning Tian's eyes lit up. What was this Big Dipper? It seemed to be fated with him. The Big Dipper secret realm is the treasure of the heavenly path. Every time the heavenly path opens the Big Dipper secret realm, although the treasures inside are unknown, they are extremely rare. There are transcendent divine artifacts, transcendent divine martial arts, and so on. But this time, the Big Dipper secret realm surprisingly revealed the treasure this time. Yi Shuang looked at Ning Tian. Oh, what is it? Ning Tian could not help but be curious. It's an extremely rare law, space. Yi Shuang said word by word. The law of space? Hearing this, Ning Tian's eyes lit up. The law of space was indeed one of the rarest laws of heaven and earth. If he had this law of space, he would not need the void ship anymore. Void ship. So, love will disappear, right? Phew. Ning Tian took a deep breath and looked at Yi Shuang. senior sister. Why is it the treasure of the heavenly path? Because the Big Dipper's secret realm is shrouded in the pressure of the heavenly path. Can ordinary people let the pressure of the heavenly path suppress a secret realm? Yi Shuang said. This is indeed impossible. Hearing this, Ning Tian nodded slightly. The heavenly path was not something that could be controlled by cultivators. Then, where is this Big Dipper secret realm? Big Dipper Starfield, Big Dipper region? Big Dipper Starfield? Ning Tian raised his eyebrows, and a trace of doubt flashed in his eyes. Junior brother, it seems that you still don't understand the division of the divine territory. Yishuang looked at Ning Tian, and a faint light flashed in her hand. Recently, the house has been renovating, so I've been a little busy. The update will be slower, but it won't stop or decrease. There will be more updates. Chapter 587. This is the domain map scroll of the God Dominion. Little junior brother, you can take a look at it yourself. The scroll in Yi Shuang's hand glowed. Upon closer inspection, one could see that it was a glowing scroll. With a gentle push, the glowing scroll flew toward Ning Tian and the other two. The domain map of the God Dominion? Eldest senior sister, you actually have the complete domain map of the God Dominion? Hearing Yi Shuang's words and looking at the scroll in front of him, Ning Tian could not help but be surprised. The God Dominion basically did not have any domain maps. Even if there were, it would definitely not be complete. Because the God Dominion was huge, there were some places that were extremely mysterious and required great strength to explore. If one was not strong enough, they would only be courting death. Of course, do you think there is any place in the God Dominion that I can't go to? Yishuang's expression didn't change at all. She only said indifferently. That seems to be the case. Hearing this, Ning Tian was speechless. All right, open it, and you will know the division of the God Dominion. Yishuang waved her hand, gesturing for Ning Tian to open it. Okay. Ning Tian nodded. Then, he channeled his spirit energy and gently pointed at the scroll floating in front of him. In an instant, spirit energy surged out and covered the domain map scroll. Soon, a dazzling light appeared in front of them. Seeing this, Ning Tian and the other two could not help but be shocked. After the domain map scroll opened, a blue light screen appeared. It was like a small God Dominion made of spirit energy. Ning Tian looked over. The God Dominion was divided into 4 major regions: Big Dipper Starfield, Western Wilderness Starfield, Eastern Prison Starfield, and Southern Frost Starfield. Junior brother, open the Starfield and you can see the small regions. At the side, Yi Shuang reminded him. Hearing this, Ning Tian gently tapped the Big Dipper Starfield. Instantly, spirit energy spread out. Countless regions of various sizes appeared in his vision, such as the Heaven region, Fire region, Demon God region, Precept region, and so on. I see. The Heaven domain, the Fire domain, the Demon God domain, and so on all belong to the Big Dipper constellation. Seeing this scene, Ning Tian suddenly understood. This thing is a piece of advanced technology. Ning Tian stroked his chin and tapped on the map of the other star fields. More information about the various factions appeared on the map. What high-tech? This is just something 8th junior brother made when he was bored, Yishuang said with a calm expression. Ning Tian, the 2 girls. At this moment, the 2 women suddenly felt that it was precisely because the heavenly god physique had the word God in it that the descendants of the heavenly god physique were walking further and further down the path of not being human. However, at this moment, Ning Tian was thinking that if he could trick his dear 8th senior brother into making more copies of the domain map of the divine realm and set a wholesale price, wouldn't he make a fortune? Little junior brother, the Big Dipper constellation is here. Yishuang pointed at a location in the Big Dipper constellation and said slowly, the Big Dipper constellation is not big and there are no forces in it. There is only the Big Dipper secret realm. The Big Dipper constellation is suppressed by the heavenly Tao and cannot allow ancient gods to enter. So, in this secret realm, the strongest opponent you will face will only be a 9 stars heavenly god and not an ancient god. 9 stars heavenly god. Ning Tian frowned slightly. Little junior brother, with your current strength, you should not be able to kill a 9 stars heavenly god, right? Peihu could not help but ask. I can't fight head-on. Ning Tian nodded and said seriously, however, if I can trick them to death, it is still possible. The ancestral master said that if you can trick them to death, don't fight head-on. Trick them to death is also a method. Peihu paused and coughed dryly. The law of space is useful to the heavenly palace. Little junior brother, I hope you can master the law of space. There is still a month before the Big Dipper secret realm opens. In this month, we will personally train the 3 of you. Yishuang looked at the 3 with a rare kind smile on her face. Hearing this, Ning Tian could not remain calm. Then, thank you, senior sister. However, Luo Wuqing and Su Yueao did not realize the seriousness of the matter and bowed slightly to Yishuang. Ahem, wife, why don't we take advantage of this and run? It is not too late. Ning Tian coughed dryly and whispered in Luo Wuqing's ear. Run? Why run? Luo Wuqing frowned slightly, puzzled. My senior sister and the others are too cruel, Ning Tian said quietly. However, at this moment, Yishuang's voice sounded. Little junior brother, don't worry. We will naturally use extremely gentle means to treat the 2 sisters-in-law. As for you, naturally, it will be hell. Ahem. Ning Tian coughed dryly and said, that, senior sister, we are pursuing equality now. It is not good for you to do this. Oh, is that so? Yishuang said faintly, the 2 sisters-in-law will also use hell, then forget it. However, before Yishuang could finish, she was interrupted by Ning Tian. What a joke. How could he bear to let his wife suffer? That will do. Yishuang spread out her hands, and then looked at Wenqing and Mu Xianqing. She said to the 2 of them, 3rd junior sister, 9th junior sister, take the 2 sisters-in-law to the heavenly palace's trial ground. Okay. Wenqing and Mu Xianqing nodded slightly and walked towards the 2 women. Seeing this, Luo Wuqing cast a questioning look at Ning Tian. It's okay. Wife, you can go with 3rd senior sister and the others. I will be fine. My senior brothers and senior sisters are old and kind. They will definitely not die. Ning Tian waved his hand. He signaled the 2 women not to worry. Okay. Luo Wuqing nodded slightly. Haha, hubby, you can do it. Su Yueao waved her little fist at Ning Tian. After the 2 women left with Wenqing and the others, Yishuang looked at Ning Tian again and said softly, little junior brother, the 2 sisters-in-law are very good. You must cherish them. Of course, I will. Ning Tian nodded slightly. He understood without Yishuang's reminder. Let's go, little junior brother. For the next month, you can rest assured and leave yourself to us. Yishuang stood up in the hall. Peihu and the others also smiled. This smile made Ning Tian's hair stand on end. Wait, eldest senior sister, I have one more thing to ask. However, just as the group was about to leave, Ning Tian spoke again. Huh. Yishuang and the others looked over. What kind of strength do I need to enter the Earth Spirit domain? Ning Tian looked at Yishuang and the others seriously. Earth Spirit domain? Yishuang frowned and did not ask more. She just said lightly, at least the same strength as me. Chapter 588. The same strength as you, eldest senior sister? Hearing Yishuang's words, Ning Tian frowned slightly. She could not help but feel puzzled. She looked at Yishuang and asked, then, eldest senior sister, what is your current cultivation level? 5-star sovereign ancient god. Yishuang said, you are indeed a sovereign ancient god. Ning Tian was shocked. As the eldest senior sister of the heavenly palace, Yishuang indeed had the strength of a sovereign ancient god. But, what do you mean by sovereign ancient god? Ning Tian frowned. He looked at Yishuang and asked, senior sister, ancient gods are divided into sovereign ancient gods? There is a distinction between postnatal and innate. However, only the ancient gods at the sovereign level have such a distinction. Supremes and primal chaos do not have such qualifications. Yishuang explained, Sovereign ancient gods break through to the sovereign ancient god through their own strength. As for sovereign ancient gods are existences at the birth of heaven and earth. These existences are much stronger than sovereign ancient gods. We call them sovereign ancient gods. Sovereign ancient gods. Ning Tian's expression was interesting. He did not expect there to be such a division between sovereign ancient gods. However, to enter the earth spirit world, one needed to be an ancient god. Moreover, one needed to be at least a sovereign ancient god. Little junior brother, the earth spirit world is not a place that anyone can enter. It is a place where life and death are at stake. Once you enter, you may not be able to return. Yishuang looked solemnly at Ning Tian and instructed, "Therefore, you must be fully prepared before you enter the earth spirit world." "Yes, I will. There is a soul in the earth spirit world that must be brought back no matter what." Ning Tian nodded. "Oh, little junior brother, could it be third sister-in-law?" Pei Hu chuckled. Second senior brother Wu Chan and the others also looked at Yi Shuang curiously. If their little junior brother could enter the earth spirit world, it must be a man. Third sister-in-law? Ning Tian was stunned. He did not answer immediately. He did not have such feelings for Bai Lu. Bai Lu probably did not have any feelings for him either. He could not explain it clearly. "All right, junior brother, let's go." After answering Ning Tian's question, Yishuang glanced at him indifferently. Since it was someone that little junior brother wanted to bring back, it was better to let little junior brother handle this matter personally. "Wait, senior sister, I have another question." Ning Tian coughed dryly. Yishuang was silent for a moment, then rolled her eyes at him. "You little brat, do you have 100,000 wives?" Ning Tian scratched his head. "Senior sister, do you know the ice god?" The reason why Ning Tian asked this question was because he still had some doubts about the frozen Tim cult seen in the 10,000 Spirits Denver. After all, that matter was related to Luo Wuqing's parents, and perhaps it had something to do with the dark turmoil. Ning Tian did not want to give up on even the slightest clue. "Ice god?" Yi Shuang frowned and shook her head. "I've heard of him, but I don't know him. Reportedly, that ice god is very mysterious. Subtle? Why is he mysterious?" Ning Tian was taken aback. "You'll know when you see the ice god in the future." Yi Shuang did not say much and just shook her head. "Where is the ice god?" A faint light flashed in Ning Tian's eyes. If it wasn't Yi Shuang who sealed the 10,000 spirits demon lair in ice, then it must have something to do with the ice god. If she had the chance in the future, she would definitely ask about it in detail. "Southern Frost Star Sea, Ice Divine Domain," Yi Shuang said. Hearing this, Ning Tian made a mark on the domain map scroll. In the future, he would go to the Ice Divine Domain to find out what was going on. Senior sister, I'll scam you out of this domain map." Ning Tian didn't blush in the slightest as she silently stowed away the domain map scroll before stowing it away into her storage ring with practiced ease. "Scam? This is for you. Why do you call it a scam?" Yi Shuang frowned. I'm used to it." Ning Tian coughed dryly. "So, little guy, do you have any more questions?" "No." Ning Tian scratched his head. "Okay, then let's go." Yi Shuang nodded slightly and walked over. She put her hand on Ning Tian's shoulder and then looked at Pei Hu, Wu Chen, and the others. "When little junior brother leaves, I'll tell him to come to you. Be prepared." "Yes, senior sister." Pei Hu and the others nodded. "Let's go, little junior brother." As soon as Yi Shuang finished speaking, she pulled Ning Tian and stepped into a cold void. Almost in the blink of an eye, the two came to a place covered in frost. Yi Shuang let go of Ning Tian, looked around and explained, "We're still in the heaven domain. This is the underground of the heaven palace, where I usually cultivate. The reason why it's covered in frost is because of the erosion of my spirit energy." Hearing this, Ning Tian could not help but sigh. She could cause changes in the surroundings just by cultivating casually. She was indeed the senior sister. "Follow me." Yi Shuang turned and walked into the depths of the glacier. As they went deeper into the glacier, the surrounding temperature became colder and colder. Soon, Ning Tian saw a familiar figure in the ice walls around him. The figure was staring at him with wide eyes. Eighth, senior brother? This familiar figure was Yi Wuyo, who was locked in here by Yi Shuang to reflect on his mistakes. Ning Tian walked over. Those with low EQ would definitely say, Eighth senior brother, are you still reflecting on your mistakes? Those with high EQ would say, Eighth senior brother, are you cultivating here? However, the one who walked over was the ancestral master. Eighth senior brother, do you want to use the word disassembly technique again? Ning Tian looked at Yi Wuyo with a smile and asked with concern. Yi Wuyo, this brat, my star. Because Yi Shuang was present, Yi Wuyo did not dare to say anything. He could only give Ning Tian a look. Eighth senior brother, are your eyes uncomfortable? Ning Tian pretended to be stupid at this moment. Yi Wuyo, this stinking brat, how could he not understand my intentions? He clearly said that once he learned this move, he would be my wingman when we go to the Pavilion of Youth. The more Yi Wuyo thought about it, the angrier he became. Hence, he took out an essential secret manual for male cultivators and prepared to bribe Ning Tian. Oh, I understand. Ning Tian's expression immediately changed. Hence, the two of them exchanged glances with each other with ferocious expressions. The following was the meaning of their eye contact. Yi Wuyo, little junior brother, quickly plead for me and senior sister. This lousy place is freezing me to death. Senior sister dotes on you the most. Quickly save me. Ning Tian, cough. Eighth senior brother, you're giving me an essential secret manual for male cultivators. It's very difficult for me to do anything for you. Yi Wuyo, you brat. Ning Tian, oh, my eyes are cramping. I can't communicate. Yi Wuyo, plus a collector's edition. Ning Tian, 2. Yi Wuyo, brat, you have a wife. Don't push your luck. Can't you show some love to a single person like me? Senior brother still wants to see it. Ning Tian, 3. Yi Wuyo, you? 3 it is. Quickly plead for me. But at this moment, there was a new message in their eye contact. Oh, an essential secret manual for male cultivators? And a collector's edition? Let me see. Don't cause trouble. This is between me and junior brother. Senior sister? F***sike. The two of them exclaimed through eye contact. Ning Tian suddenly looked at Yi Shuang. This senior sister actually knew how to make eye contact. Is it very difficult? Yi Shuang spread her hands and looked at the two of them as if she was looking at idiots. What were these two planning to do in front of her? Junior brother, don't think about pleading for this guy. At most, he will be locked up for a few days for destroying the heavenly palace. However, eighth junior brother is not focused on cultivation. I can only lock him up here and force him to cultivate. Facing the wall and reflecting on his mistakes is fake. Forcing him to cultivate is real. Yi Shuang looked at Ning Tian. Hearing this, Ning Tian could only look at Yi Wuyo helplessly. It was a pity that he would lose the 3 collector's edition secret manuals for male cultivators. In the ice, Yi Wuyo could only watch the two of them walk away. In the deepest part of the glacier. Senior sister, why did you bring me here? Even Ning Tian could no longer resist the chill in the surroundings. Yi Shuang also didn't allow him to use the heavenly fire laws. At this moment, Ning Tian could only shiver in the cold. I'll teach you the ice laws. Facing this cold temperature, Yi Shuang's expression was calm as she spoke. Ice laws. Ning Tian was stunned for a moment. Then, he raised his hand and a cold energy condensed in his hand. Is it this? The cold energy condensed in his hand was the ice laws. You have already mastered it? Seeing the cold energy in Ning Tian's hand, Yi Shuang's eyes flashed with shock. I've mastered it for a minute. Does that count as mastering it? Ning Tian asked tentatively. Of course not. However, I didn't expect you to be able to master the ice laws for a minute. In this case, teaching you will be much easier. Yi Shuang shook her head slightly. You have shocked Yi Shuang. Reward. When comprehending the ice laws, the speed of comprehension will increase. In his mind, the system's voice sounded. Come on, take off your clothes. Yi Shuang's voice sounded at this moment. Oh, okay. At this moment, Ning Tian was still thinking about the system's voice in his mind and nodded subconsciously. However, when his hand grabbed his clothes, he immediately reacted and his expression changed. Huh? Take off my clothes. Ning Tian's expression suddenly became strange. Senior sister, I am a decent person. I can't do this. After all, my body and my heart belong to my wife. Before he could finish his words, Ning Tian let out a scream. A big bump appeared on his head and a wisp of white gas floated out. Little guy, you don't think that you will do anything to me, do you? Yi Shuang silently withdrew her fist and looked at Ning Tian indifferently. If you want to cultivate the ice laws, it is the easiest way to feel the cold energy through your body. Moreover, you have the ice laws as a foundation. It will be more convenient for you to comprehend it. If you don't want to use this method, I have other methods. However, they will be many times crueler. Yi Shuang's eyes fell on Ning Tian and said indifferently. At this moment, Ning Tian finally knew why his senior brothers and sisters were so afraid of Yi Shuang. Because senior sister was really scary. I'll take it off. I'll take it off, okay? At this moment, Ning Tian felt a sense of helplessness. While he was removing his clothes, Yi Shuang quietly turned around and faintly said, Little junior brother, while you are in seclusion, you can check the surrounding walls. If you have a strong aptitude, you should be able to see the difference. Ning Tian was naked at this moment. Although Yi Shuang had turned her back on him, he still felt a little uncomfortable. The surrounding walls? Hearing Yi Shuang's words, Ning Tian sat cross-legged and looked at the surrounding walls. The surrounding walls were covered with frost. Among the frost, there was a chill. The chill contains the comprehension of the ice laws? Ning Tian observed for a while and quickly came to a conclusion. Oh, it seems that you are not bad, little guy. Yi Shuang's lips curled up slightly. She narrowed her eyes and looked at the surrounding walls. She muttered in her heart, Little junior brother, even if you observe the comprehension of the ice laws, it is not easy to comprehend it. Let me see how you comprehend. Yi Shuang suddenly frowned, because she saw the changes in the surrounding walls. Around her, among the frost, a blue light appeared. Then, all the surrounding walls were lit up. Among the frost, there were blue ancient talismans shining. These ancient talismans were Yi Shuang's comprehension of the ice laws. This little guy, seeing this scene, Yi Shuang was slightly moved. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of surprise. His talent is so high that it is far beyond our heavenly palace's 9 supremes. But this is good. Yi Shuang's lips curled up slightly, revealing a rare smile. You have shocked Yi Shuang. Reward, divine level martial art, cold god technique. Cold god technique will be automatically unlocked when the host comprehends it. At this moment, in his mind, the system's voice sounded again. Phew. Begin comprehension. Ning Tian took a deep breath as a glint flashed across his eyes. In an instant, the surrounding frost accompanied Ning Tian. Those blue ancient ice talismans rotated around him. The chill slowly condensed on his body. The comprehension of the ice laws. It began. 10 days later, in the underground ice palace. At this moment, Ning Tian was completely frozen in ice. Yi Shuang was guarding him by the side. In these 10 days, Yi Shuang could be said to have felt the monstrous talent of her junior brother. In these 10 days, the frost aura in Ning Tian's body continued to increase. This was very obvious. His comprehension of the ice laws was getting stronger and stronger. Crack. At this moment, a slight cracking sound could be heard. Oh, looks like junior brother is about to succeed. Hearing the cracking sound, Yi Shuang's eyebrows slightly raised. There was a trace of anticipation. Crack, crack. Cracks appeared on the ice that was freezing Ning Tian. Then, it gradually shattered. Congratulations to the host for successfully comprehending the ice laws. Divine level martial art, cold god technique has been automatically unlocked. Comprehending the cold god technique. Cold god technique successfully comprehended. When he successfully comprehended the law of ice, the unknown tree quietly sprouted a new branch. Phew! A glint flashed in Ning Tian's eyes. He let out a long sigh of relief and ran out of the ice shards. Hee hee. Success. Eldest senior sister. Look at my ice laws. Ning Tian held the ice laws in his hand and jumped in front of Yishuang. Senior sister, why are you blushing? However, in the next moment, accompanied by a miserable cry, the naked Ning Tian was thrown out of the underground ice palace. In the next few days, Ning Tian completely activated his inhuman mode. As long as it was a martial art taught by his senior brothers and sisters, he could learn it in an hour. He definitely wouldn't drag it out for 2 hours. This couldn't be blamed on him. After all, he didn't have much time left. There wasn't much time left before the Big Dipper's secret realm opened. This made Pei Hu and the others speechless. This little monster simply didn't treat himself as a human. Sky Palace's Ice Palace. Senior brothers, what else can you teach me? Can you teach me everything? Ning Tian looked at his senior brothers eagerly. However, Pei Hu and the others were speechless and shook their heads helplessly. Brat, come, I'll teach you another move. Wu Chen held a sword in his hand and looked at Ning Tian. Okay. Hey, wait. Ning Tian was about to take out the red cloud sword, but a huge wave of spirit energy came from his body. Junior brother, what are you doing? Wu Chen frowned slightly. Oh, wait for me to break through, Ning Tian said. His body was like a hot knife through butter. After this period of cultivation, he could finally break through. Wu Chen and the others, congratulations to the host for breaking through to the 7-star ancestor god realm. The system's voice sounded in his mind. Phew, I can fight above my level again. Ning Tian stretched. Wu Chen and the others. Ning Tian looked at them speechlessly and touched his chin. He really wanted to ask, Senior brothers, why are you looking at me like that? If I don't fight above my level, wouldn't it be a disgrace to the name of the heavenly god body? Fighting above my level. Is it very difficult? Wu Chen and the others were silent. For the heavenly god body, fighting above their level was a common occurrence. However, damn it, who would be like a little monster like you, crossing realms to ascend the ancient god realm? Ever since they heard from Yishuang that their junior brother had killed a 1-star supreme ancient god with the strength of an ancestor god realm, they were a little uneasy and doubted if they had made a mistake. Even though Ning Tian explained that he had only used a small trick, they didn't listen. Phew! Wu Chen took a deep breath and then held the divine sword in his hand tightly. He looked at Ning Tian and said, Junior brother, come and draw the sword. Let's do a sword fight. Sword fight? Hearing this, Ning Tian looked a little strange and couldn't help but sigh. I didn't expect you to have this kind of hobby, second senior brother. Hobby? Isn't sword fighting the most normal thing for a sword cultivator like me? Wu Chen felt very strange about this. Come on. Ning Tian spread his hands and then drew red cloud. Your sword is a good sword, but why is it so complicated? Wu Chen's eyes fell on red cloud and he frowned slightly. Oh, this? Ning Tian held red cloud and said casually, I just used it to cut pork, beast meat, and various kinds of sea beast meat. Cut beast meat? This is a good sword. You actually used it to cut beast meat? Wu Chen was shocked. He was a sword fanatic to begin with. Seeing Ning Tian like this, he could not help but find it hard to accept. You shocked Wu Chen. Red Cloud Sword has evolved. The current Red Cloud Sword cuts meat faster, sharper, and better meat quality. In his mind, the system's voice sounded. Oh, hearing this, Ning Tian raised his eyebrows and murmured, It seems that I can use Red Cloud Sword to cut meat again. From then on, Red Cloud Sword went further and further on the road of cooking. You stinky boy. You actually used such a good sword to cut meat? The sword in Wu Chen's hand flashed, and he kept waving it. He was a sword maniac. Now he couldn't think straight. He just wanted to kill this evil junior brother in front of him. Second senior brother, slow down. I can't learn it. Seeing Wu Chen's sword dance, Ning Tian wanted to learn. Slow down your head. I'm going to kill you, little bastard. Damn it. Junior brother is being murdered. There was a scream. This matter ended when Ning Tian was chased by Wu Chuan and learned Wu Chen's swordsmanship. A few days later, it's finally over. After it's over, I feel relaxed. Ning Tian stretched lazily with a satisfied look on her face. However, the 9 supremes of the heavenly palace looked at him with resentment. Husband, husband. At this moment, 2 familiar voices came from the side. Ning Tian turned around and saw Wen Qing and Mu Xianqing walking over from the side with 2 women. When his eyes fell on the 2 women, even he couldn't help but be stunned. At this moment, the 2 women seemed to have become more beautiful. Moreover, the 2 women's aura seemed to have improved a lot. Wife, did you break through again? Ning Tian's expression was a little strange. Yes. Luo Wuqing nodded slightly. At this moment, she was already in the heavenly god realm, and Su Yueyao had also stepped into the 9-star ancestor god realm. Ning Tian was confused. Hee, husband. It seems that you have a long way to go if you want to have children. Su Yueyao covered her mouth and chuckled. Little junior brother, I have to say that the 2 sisters-in-law are really talented. They don't lose to us at all. When Qing held the pipa and her beautiful eyes fell on the 2 women, her eyes were full of amazement. Oh? Hearing this, Ning Tian raised his eyebrows. Could it be that this had something to do with him? Cough cough, I see. I knew it. There are benefits to doing serious things. Ning Tian blushed and coughed dryly. However, at this moment, Mu Xianqing came over and smiled at Ning Tian and said mysteriously, Little junior brother, are the 2 sisters more beautiful now? Yes. Ning Tian nodded subconsciously. Moreover, their figures have become more impressive. All of this is thanks to me. Senior sister knows you well, right? So, you little monster, don't you want to express your feelings? Mu Xuanqing's mouth curved slightly, and her beautiful eyes fell on Ning Tian. Cough. Ning Tian coughed dryly. I'll be your guinea pig for free. Once. At least twice. Twice? Then I have to see if my little wife's chest is as big as my first wife's. Then you'll know when you test it later. Hearing the 2 serious people's serious discussion, Luo Wuqing and Su Yueyao couldn't help but blush and couldn't help but roll their eyes at their husband. Okay, you 2 be serious. Yi Shuang looked at the 2 indifferently. In an instant, Ning Tian and Mu Xianqing immediately became obedient. 3 in 1. 6,000 words. Chapter 589. The dignity of the eldest senior sister was still there. Seeing that Ning Tian and Mu Xianqing had calmed down, Yi Shuang looked at them and said, looking at the time, if you set off now, you'll still have some time after reaching the Big Dipper territory. It's best if you set off now. Yes, with the speed of the void ship, we'll arrive in about 2 to 3 days. Ning Tian nodded slightly. Oh right, little junior brother. Yi Shuang seemed to have thought of something and looked at Ning Tian. When you reach the Big Dipper territory, don't use your identity as the successor of the heavenly palace. Oh. Hearing this, Ning Tian raised her eyebrows. She pondered for a moment before her eyes lit up. I understand. Eldest senior sister, what you're saying is that I shouldn't reveal my identity so easily. That way, I'll let those fellows down and take them by surprise. Hearing this, Yi Shuang was silent for a while before she spoke slowly. If you really want to put it that way, it does make sense. However, the most important thing is that we've done something. If you enter the Big Dipper secret realm as the successor of the heavenly palace, it might not be peaceful. After all, in the Big Dipper secret realm, your identity can't suppress others. You guys, what did we do? Ning Tian scratched his head and looked at the 9 supremes of the heavenly palace. Cough cough, cough. Wherever he looked, the 9 supremes of the heavenly palace coughed dryly, then whistled and shifted their gazes to the side. One look, and one could tell that they were guilty. Seeing this, the corner of Ning Tian's mouth twitched. He looked at the most gentle second senior sister. Second senior sister, if I say that I'm from the heavenly palace, I'll definitely be beaten up, right? I'll definitely be beaten up, right? This, which, when Qing hugged the pipa and said weakly, Actually, little junior brother, it's not a big deal if you say that you're from the heavenly palace. However, based on common sense, there's no doubt that you'll be beaten up. The sense of immersion was very strong. Ning Tian was already thinking of how to scam him. Little junior brother, don't worry. You're not human anyway. At this moment, a weak voice rang out. Yi Wuyo crawled out from the ground covered in ice shards. He then laughed wildly. Ha ha ha. I've been cultivating an eldest senior sister's ice palace for an entire month. I've finally made a tool to dig through eldest senior sister's ice wall. Everyone, did I ask you to cultivate so that you can forge tools? Yi Shuang frowned. Eldest senior sister, forging is also a form of cultivation. Yi Wuyo had a serious expression on his face. He was struggling on his deathbed. Oh, is that so? With another slap, she sent Yi Wuyo into the underground of the ice palace. When she was done, she clapped her hands and looked at Ning Tian and the others. All right, that's more or less done. When you've obtained the law of space, come back to the heavenly palace. All right, then we'll take our leave first. Thank you, senior brothers and sisters, for your guidance during this period. Shall we continue next time? Ning Tian grinned at Wu Chun, Pei Hu, and the others. Wu Chun, Pei Hu, and the others' mouths twitched as they recalled the fear of being dominated by a certain monster. They hurriedly laughed and scolded. Get lost, you little monster. Hurry up and go to the Big Dipper domain. Haha, all right. Ning Tian laughed and led the two women out of the heavenly palace. There was still a little lion outside that had been waiting for almost a month. Sha Tian, time to get to work. Let's go to the Big Dipper domain. The three of them boarded the void ship. Ning Tian took out the domain map scroll and locked onto the Big Dipper domain in the Big Dipper domain. Roar, roar. Hearing this, the eyes of the sealed flame Lion King, who was lying on the ground, lit up. It skillfully took out the straw hat that came from nowhere and put it on its head. Then, it started the void ship. Boom. With a burst of kinetic energy, the void ship headed toward the Big Dipper domain. Heavenly Palace. Yi Shuang and the others watched silently. When little junior brother grasps the law of space, perhaps it will be useful for the seal, Yi Shuang muttered. Behind her, Wen Qing and the others were also hopeful. Perhaps. 3 days later. Big Dipper domain, Big Dipper domain. The void ship slowly landed on the Big Dipper domain. 3 people and 1 lion jumped off the ship. In front of them was a huge city. This was the only city in the Big Dipper domain, and the Big Dipper secret realm was in it. Is this the Big Dipper domain? It is indeed much smaller than the other domains. Su Yueyao stretched lazily, revealing her perfect curves. Her beautiful eyes looked at the city in front of her with a hint of curiosity. If you're curious, you can go in and take a look. After Ning Tian took back the void ship, he smiled at the 2 women. The 2 women nodded. Shall we go? Ning Tian smiled and extended his hand to the 2 women. Seeing this, the 2 women generously gave their hands to him. Haha, let's go. Ning Tian grabbed the 2 women's hands skillfully. Then, he led the sealed flame Lion King, who was eagerly following behind him, towards the city in front of them. Big Dipper City. This was the only city in the Big Dipper domain, and it was a city without a master. When Ning Tian's group entered Big Dipper City, they saw that the city was already packed with people. It seemed like many powers had arrived at Big Dipper City, and most of them were at the universe-enlightened ancestral god realm to 9 stars of the heavenly god realm. Due to the presence of the heavenly Tao suppression, experts at the heavenly god realm and above were unable to step into the city. In the city, there was an endless stream of horses and carriages, and the sound of hawking was incessant. Let's go and take a look. Quick, come and take a look at the Medicine Pavilion's latest soul-returning pill. 1 pill can bring the dead back to life, and 2 pills can enter the cycle of reincarnation. It's a bargain, and it only costs 990,000 spirit coins. If you have the strongest weapon, it's equivalent to having the entire divine domain in your hands. Looks like the Big Dipper City is actually quite lively. Su Yueyao looked around and couldn't help but comment. What's so lively about it? It's nothing more than a bunch of profiteers who are taking advantage of the secret realm to make a fortune. Ning Tian waved his hand and pointed around. Look, that so-called divine medicine is actually the most ordinary of herbs. As for that weapon, it's just a pile of scrap metal. For Ning Tian, who was proficient in the art of alchemy and forging, he could tell the quality of these things at a glance. The group continued to stroll around the city. Husband, look over there. Suddenly, Luo Wuqing pointed at a place. Hearing this, Ning Tian and Sui Weiyao looked over. I'm too busy and didn't have time to write. I don't want to rush, and it affects the quality. I'll make up for it tomorrow. I'll update with 10,000 words tomorrow. Sorry. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.